Welcome back to Pax Mithdosica, session 45. We're getting up there. It's almost a year old. I think it is a year old, like calendar date, but not in terms of the number of sessions. And last week, well, what did happen last week?
One sec, let me open up my
Fuck.
notes.
It was a wedding.
All right.
There was
Nothing
a
at
wedding.
all.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait,
It
really?
was
Oh, yeah,
was
at the very
introducing. It was sticking this old man with you guys, and then trying to solve all the issues around each.
Oh
region.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
then we kind of got him officiated secretly.
That's
Uh,
right.
Yeah.
Father Bozion.
We
And I
also
think
did our
we're-
whole, we got all those magical artifacts, which was cool.
Father
Oh, yeah, you guys
Bozion.
did that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, a
It's
lot
the
happened. It was
35th
very
session.
productive. 45th, yeah.
Just
No,
zero
34th.
Oh,
Or sorry, 35th. 35th.
35th
Session
what?
35. Yeah.
No, it's session 45.
How?
It just is.
I'm
I
looking
don't know
at
what to
his.
tell you.
I'm looking at his YouTube right now. The last episode was 44. So
Yeah.
What the fuck? I only have notes for 35 sessions.
Well,
maybe
you
it's
fell
also
off.
sessions.
You're
Might also
schizo-
be
Or something.
The notes
counting the-
schizo has incomplete
Oh, a lot of
notes.
those are solo sessions. At least 10 of them, maybe, probably something like
Got
that.
it.
Or you
yeah,
weren't
I
there.
didn't skip over those.
That
Yeah.
would add up.
Reporting for not doing accurate notes.
Yeah, come
That's
on.
amazing. my head.
Didn't
Just take
watch
notes
all
when
of the
Renesmee isn't even
fucking
there.
Solo session.
Yeah, so that is what happened last week. There was all that stuff, a wedding. And we're just going to pick up basically right where we left off. It is the 18th of April, the spring of Mythdosia. You guys are in the province of Regia. You've resolved the governor's problem, though you have not reported back to him in terms of where we are in the timeline. 6 days ago, Kuzma's fist fell. 17 days ago, the Battle of Amon Sound took place, where the Mythosians got a little bit roughed up at the seas by a flying dwarf. And here we
Damn
are.
it.
Oh, where to?
Well. Well.
the next region is south. Yes.
Well, shall we go inform the governor of our completion of his task?
No, I think we could just send a letter. It doesn't seem like he was very
Yeah.
happy to see us anyways.
Yes. What I'm
Well,
trying
maybe
to
we
get
should
at is,
ask if he needs more help.
I sort of want an excuse to spend a week somewhere doing nothing.
What?
Why?
I happen to have enough XP to level up.
Ah,
I
I
want to
see.
do that.
You wish to develop your skills and train with weapons. I understand. now.
Precisely.
Well, I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
if you think it's necessary, technically you could go to Regia and spend a week there.
I don't know that Rixion's gonna want to wait a week. We got sent on this mission. We should get it done quickly.
We did. Did we get a time limit for it?
No, it's actually a
Or
very
even-
vague order.
Or even any kind of sense of urgency from this order?
Well, there's a vague sense of urgency.
What kind of people would we be to not complete things as ordered as fast as possible?
True.
And
Saying that?
I'll just say, out of
people
character,
would
I don't know if you'll
be
need like an extra level. It's just not going to be a lot of combat. Like this is the non-combat
I feel
arc.
like
This is the being a judge arc.
character- I don't know, like how characters feel when they level up. But
It's basically just
we-
spending a week like it's like this is such a bad analogy, but in the game Oblivion, after you do a certain amount of combat and fighting stuff, you have to sleep to like level up. It's basically the equivalent of that. Like you're training your skills, you're like taking all these various things you've learned through experience and combining them into developing a new talent or something like that. Or for spellcasters, it represents introspection and or spell research that has finally come to fruition. That's what it's meant to represent.
Got
And a
it.
week is how long it takes to sort of coalesce all those thoughts.
I feel like Renesmee would be like, why do you want to take a break right now?
Maximus had an absolute epiphany of a new fighting style.
Fair enough, yeah.
And this is like his schizo hyper focus all of a sudden.
Is that a good enough reason for the rest of you judges in character?
No.
Well, Maximus,
It's gonna
can't you
be
practice
hard.
Can't you practice that fighting style while we're on the road?
All time must be dedicated to this. My brain is overflowing. I
But
can
that's-
feel it. I'm so close. I'm almost there. I'm sure you felt the same way, Renesmee.
I mean, of
Just
course I have.
You were
Before,
right there. and it's
Yes.
killing you to
On
not
the
be able to
cusp.
develop it. Exactly.
The thing is that
So
typically,
close.
I know, but I always wait until there's a dip in our duties.
As far as I'm concerned, 4 judges is more than enough. He can rest in Regia, and we'll go down to Sidalia. He can meet us in.
Damn.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Go to
No,
Sidalia
we're all
with
going,
us.
we should all go somewhere.
Damn. They called your bluff.
Yeah, I personally think
me-
that.
Let me be clear. I'm asking. I'm not like saying I'm going
Yeah,
to do this. This is a request rather than a demand.
I'm sorry, buddy. I get it. Sometimes I just have this like idea for the magic, and then I just get so focused on it, and then I learn how to do it, and it's really rewarding. I wish we had more downtime.
I mean, this isn't particularly urgent.
Yeah,
I feel like the more quickly we
I
do this,
understand.
the better we could get rewarded in terms of standing. With certain
I highly
Maybe.
doubt that. What makes you think that?
well, the fact that it's our jobs, and that
Yeah.
people like it when
We-
you do
Sure.
your job
we work
fast.
very well and efficiently, people might consider us to be more
Because
useful.
we've never dilly-dallied and gone off on weird side tangents. Perfect example. Actually, I have the perfect example. Renesmee, remember when we spent a bunch of time trying to get a druid to her native home simply because you wanted to?
To be fair,
That
you
was
did
the
do
right
that
thing
after
to
resolving. Yeah, you also did that after resolving the entire main. Everything else was done on the island.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
kind of
That
like
was
a
the right thing
downtime.
Why
to
would
do.
Maximus ever bring that up?
True. Good point. There is no point for him to bring up something that disagrees with his argument.
If there was a child drowning, we would take a
Sure,
detour.
sure. You see that as the right thing to do.
A
The
child
rest
drowning.
of us, no, those are absolutely not at all the same thing. A child
let's say
drowning
that-
and a fae. Anyway, we took a side detour, took time out of our mission to do something because you personally wanted to do it. It would
And
not have gotten
Grania.
done if you had not
And the
pushed for it.
others.
And Grania?
He's just staring.
Yes.
She has no idea what happened.
Just
Grania
empty
has
stare.
no idea what's going on, okay?
I don't
And the
think she
others-
cares
Hey,
anymore.
Maximus,
Learn
do you
different.
take her as stupid just because she can't speak? What do you mean she
No,
has no
well,
idea what's
not.
going on? She
Not because of
communicates
that.
perfectly fine. She's a little spacey, but she understands what's happening.
Yes, I'm aware, but you're going away from the main argument.
Hey, Granna, do you understand what's happening? I'll ask her.
She'll think for a second and sign no.
Yeah, I
What'd she say,
think
Severus?
How
She
long
said
were
no.
they waiting in
Ah,
the city of Mythos before we got this mission?
She said
like
no.
a month.
He had a whole month.
Well, no, he didn't because he didn't have enough.
But Rick Scott saw him sitting on his ass
Yeah,
for a month.
true.
And now he
It
wants to
hadn't
sit his
come-
ass for a
it
week.
hadn't come to me then.
It is a all of you would have shared this common experience of just having this epiphany or breakthrough in whatever you are, a paladin, a fighter, whatever else. It's not an uncommon thing, it's just timing.
I feel for
Right, out of
Maximus,
character, I'm
but
gonna be real here. This level up is really not big at all. What
He
you
wants it.
Is it ASI?
be 9.
No.
No.
It's level 9. It gives him, whenever he fails a saving throw, he can
Indomitable.
reroll
Oh, it's
it.
indomitable. Why do you want indomitable?
It's not that good. I guess proficiency, the biggest thing that
It's-
happens is proficiency bonus increase by 1.
It's more of that and the fact that they have less hit points than Renesmee does.
They
which
isn't-
isn't like
he
Well,
has
isn't
to
she a Giga
take-
Chad?
Yeah.
You
Renesmee
second wind and weave a healer,
a
though.
super high con.
Yeah, but I also have no armor,
AC.
like
Yeah.
ever. I have no AC.
Yeah, you have
I
like,
get
what,
hit with
21 AC?
Everything.
I
Nonetheless,
am
let's
trying
continue with our
to
journey.
Oh my god!
I am trying to make this argument in character, and I feel like you guys keep steering
That
it
is
away
true.
from the
That is
in-character
true.
argument.
That is true. That's fair.
You know, I was engaging with you in character.
Well, yeah,
Rexion was.
Well,
Maximus,
I mean,
it's not happening. I'm sorry. I understand that you're hyperfixated, but you're just gonna have to shove a cork in it and wait until we're ready.
I'll remember that, Renesmee. Off we
I'm
go.
sorry.
all right.
I
So,
remember it from
Granny
just her. I
dumb.
think we kind of all agree on this.
Yeah, he's
Except
the
Grana,
only
she
one
doesn't
still
like.
arguing it.
Alright. The next time you want to rescue some Fae just because you want to.
That is very different. than
How?
going on a personal whim and wanting to, I don't know, paint some fucking pictures or something for a week and learn something. I get it.
Well,
I've
how do you
been
feel
there.
about
But there are
how do you feel about
duties
me
in the
going
world.
like on a small little tangent to acquire some items for about 3 weeks?
There it is.
A boat
You-
trip
you
to
did
can-
Hago.
You can feel
Greatly.
free to do that.
Will it not be rewarded with thousands of gold? Yes, most likely. So, at least my tangent benefited us all immensely.
How?
When we took a detour of 3 weeks to go and dig up that old site that I had researched and found.
Yeah, that was absolutely worth it. I'm not talking about that.
So
No, it's
perhaps
also not a
my
detour.
Bring that up.
is highly beneficial.
That
huh?
wasn't a detour. We already had downtime either way.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
We've
Anyways,
reached
there's
a
no.
decision, yes.
Yeah,
going
there's
to
no point of
Sidalia.
arguing of this.
And
I
I'll
feel
ride
like
my horse.
waiting here
Yes,
for a
yes,
week
yes.
projects like
Sedalia.
I feel like
is.
a saying we're gonna like come here to Regia to help the government, and then doing one thing and then just chilling in a
Just
town
chilling
for a
out
week.
for a week.
I
That's kind
feel
of
like
base,
that
to be
kind
honest.
of projects a really negative picture. Let's do it.
No, dude, you got that French work ethic. You work for 5 days and then you take a
Fine.
year off.
You
It's
go,
based as fuck.
Based.
We can wait and where are we going again? Something.
I
Sedalia.
believe you're planning
Sedalia.
Sedalia.
We can wait in Sedalia.
I don't think our job here is done.
All right, well,
Okay, then let's
it
go see
has
what
been
else we have to
decided.
do.
So we are going to.
Yeah, we're going to Sidalia. Is there a governor of Mythos that's not the emperor?
No.
Okay.
Mythasia has no governor. Every other province does. It instead has a prelate, Prelate, directly appointed by the emperor to deal with all the shit that a governor would. But it's not a governor.
I'm guessing they
explicitly.
weren't part of our orders and mandate then.
No, they're
right?
definitely not. You were explicitly told you don't need to do anything there because it's safe. You'd have
Okay.
like a bandit would have to be insane to try to attack anything in the core province of the empire. Usually, there's an entire legion stationed there, regardless of like anything else, which is like 5,000 to 7,000 men. So
Is that
pretty
the
wild.
cushy? Is that the
The
cushy
first
job
legion,
where,
yeah,
like,
it's the ultra cushy job.
this, like the senator's sons go and.
Well, it's
shit
actually
like
not even
that?
the senator's son. It's the emperor's heir is the leader of that legion. So it's like the ultimate cushy job. It's
Oh,
amazing.
I'm saying like the senator's sons, if they fight in the legions, they get stationed
Oh.
in that one.
Yeah, typically.
Ah,
Yeah, it's super cushy. But now it's been deployed to the plains, and they're probably going to die horribly. Such is the nature of things.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, bozo.
I mean, you know, there's a bit of a manpower shortage, so.
Is there?
Well, currently,
Where do we-
Mythosia, in terms of its population, it's currently leveraging about 5% of its entire population for this war, which, in terms of like historical terms, is insanely high. That's like,
And we're
Ridiculously
we're like
high.
fighting on two different fronts, right? Because we're still messing around in the south.
well,
and then
3
we've
if you
got
count the naval theater as well.
The naval. What's
'Cause
going
you
on with
guys-
the navy? We're
Well,
fighting
you guys
the
were
Galactic
raiding,
guys.
yeah,
We
exactly.
we just declared war on the
Al-Serenian
Seal the
Empire,
dragon. Or wait,
Yeah.
what's that empire? What's
The Empire of Al-Sirah is located next to Galadrim. Those are the people who destroyed the fleet.
What
that
are
was
we
headed to
doing
Galadrim.
here? Why are
Hey,
we
you're
just-
fighting everyone, okay?
It seems really.
They sunk our
You
fucking
know where
fleet.
They
Well,
attacked
really
you. You
insane.
didn't attack them, okay? They were the aggressors.
Some crazy
Some-
fucking magic
some
magic
crazy
dwarf.
wizard.
Yeah, you gotta defend yourself, okay?
Yeah. What's that wizard's name, by the way?
His name is
Vandai.
Vandai Algar, Archmagus
Oh, that was
of
Vandai.
Al-Sirah. Yeah.
I
Okay,
didn't know
so
that.
Recently, that made us go to
Because
war
you
with them.
mentioned him.
yeah, that it happened like
Oh,
a week
okay.
ago. No, 2 weeks ago. Is why you're with Al-Sirah. So yeah, the Empire's doing a lot of shit. It's leveraging a lot of manpower. So the First Legion has been sent to its. I mean, theoretically, it's victory. It hasn't fought any battles yet, but who knows? So you guys spend. You could either ride really hard for a day, but that just seems kind of goofy. So it takes 2 days for you guys to get to the city of Flamium. We have never been here. We've all been to the city of Sedalia. I just had a stroke. You all have been to the province of Sidalia. It's a pass-through province. And unfortunately, that's kind of the reputation that the whole place has. You know, flyover country is like, you know, the modern way we'd say it. And that's essentially what Sidalia is. It's an agricultural province. It produces, it's not the big trading hub like Ravinium or Mythos. It used to have these massive dry docks producing the Mythosian Navy, but all those are in Redenium and St. Endrals now. So it literally is just like agriculture and a little bit of mining in the eastern mountains. Maybe your recruitmentary duties would have taken you here, Severus, but unlikely. It's just a bit too close to your, hometown for you to be assigned here for any significant length of time. Regarding your thing, Heko, if you would have liked, you could reach out through, backdoor channels, not backdoor channels, but through a messenger. The governor literally just, he had nothing for you originally, and when you kept pressing, he gave you, a side thing to do, but he didn't want you there in the first place, so he has nothing else for you, you can leave, basically. That's the general vibe you get. He doesn't want anything from you.
Do I know any formentary contracts in the area of Regia that could tell me what's actually going on? Maybe he's just hiding shit from us?
Yeah, roll just a flat d20. This would just be pure luck. My guess is most of your contacts are out of the plains, but you may potentially have one in Regia. No, you
6.
don't have any contacts in Regia. So yeah, you guys head
What
south.
are the Fragmentari doing on the plains? Are they just trying to infiltrate the dragon?
Well, I think that Zednius would have no context for that. What Severus primarily did was what we call terror operations. He would find local dissidents against the Empire, infiltrate their organization, figure out the names of everyone involved, and assist forces of judges, inquisitors, and other military assets in killing every single person involved and crucifying them. Also some assassinations, basically general terror operations to prevent rebellions. You guys are the good guys. Don't forget that. Surely.
That's why we know how to waterboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Be the will of Aurelian's soul.
True, I mean, if God says it. So yeah, anyways, that's what Flamium is. Very backwater. Once a prominent city during the days of the Regina Republic, very prominent. Now, not that. So you pass by dozens of agricultural settlements. You guys all just start sneezing instinctively as the morning sowing of the grain, or the spring sowing of the grain takes place. There's all these particles floating through the air, all sorts of allergies, and it's just not a pleasant time for your sinuses. But eventually, the city... Thank you, I'm immersed. The city of Flamium comes into view. It has no walls, which is... It's not especially notable. Most Mythosian cities haven't earned walls unless they desperately need them for actual defensive purposes. Flamium doesn't. It hasn't been attacked in a very, very, very long time. So it's wallless. There is a small garrison at a watchtower, but it has the same sized garrison as Fort Romulus, which was a tiny little fortress on the edge of the Empire, and a major city typically has a far larger contingent, so very little people here. And as you approach the city, no patrol comes out to greet you. The closest thing you get to that is a guy on a cart riding past you, sort of giving you a friendly wave. He has a straw hat on to keep the sun from beating down on him. And here we are, the city of Flamium. Not much pomp and circumstance to your arrival, unlike in Regia.
I guess even in a city like this, there would still be a cloister.
Cloister, technically no, because once you get beyond a certain size, you now have praetors or aediles, or in this case, you'd have a governor who would be a proconsul.
Got it.
And that's where we need to go.
Yeah, I guess we'll start trying to find our governor dude.
Yeah. A quick cursory glance will reveal there's no massively prominent gubernatorial palace like there was in Regia. Again, that's sort of a privilege to be earned, not a thing that's guaranteed. So instead, after asking, there's not even city guards, so you just ask a random passerby. He will point you down towards the harbor. There is a building that resembles a sort of city hall, and that is where Governor, he would call him Governor Memorcus, is located there. Yeah, and you guys can make your way down to the harbor. There is a single ship docked, but you can see that this harbor is vast. Once it could have held maybe 50 or 60 ships, which for context, Mythos, the greatest city in the world, can hold about 100. So at one point, this was a great harbor, but now it's empty. There's just no people coming.
Empty?
Yeah.
Why is the westernmost tip not a key harbor?
It's a great question.
What is the key harbor of Mythosia?
Well, nowadays, Regia, Revinium, Mythos, and Redinium are the 4 biggest ports. Well, Nausius is huge as well. Those are the 5 biggest ports. You're right, though. Geographically, Flamium is in the perfect position. In fact, if you're trying to cross the Hammer's Fall, the Flamium to Galadrim route is the shortest. So there must be mitigating factors. But you can approach the city hall. It's weird. In Mythosia, you're used to a lot more like fanciness. So instead, you tie up your horses. No one comes out to greet you. So you just climb up the steps into the city hall. Inside, there is a young woman. Her head has been shaved. She has a little holy symbol to Aurelian soul around her neck. She's sitting behind a desk, likely some sort of priest that's been assigned as a clerk. And she will glance up as you all enter and say, "Welcome to the gubernatorial palace."
Hello. We are judges of the Empire, and we're hoping to have a word with the governor, Marcus.
Oh, is Governor Mamicus expecting you?
No, he is not.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll go see if he's in a meeting. I think he was meeting with some of the guildsmen earlier, so... Well, I'll just check. And she stands up and walks away, and you sit down in the 4 chairs available in the waiting area. There's not enough to fit all of you. This sort of entry chamber is smaller than that of your boss back in Mythos. And you can hear the sounds of children playing outside. It's calm. Freakishly calm. There's no wacky shit happening. There's no garrisons patrolling. It's almost like this city isn't even a part of this death war out in the plains. But a little bit later, she'll come back out and she says, "Yes, the governor will see you now."
Thank you.
And she'll just go back to sitting down. She doesn't guide you through the halls. No master servants or guards come out to greet you. You just approach the door that she exited from, and you open it up. There's a long hallway with an open door at the end. You can see the room beyond looks like the office of a scribe. There's tons of writing across the desk. There's a bookshelf on the left wall. On the right wall, there's a proper writing desk with several ink pots and pens. And sitting at the desk is a older man. He's maybe in his late 50s, early 60s, streaks of white running through gray hair. He has a pretty grizzled, ancient looking expression. And he wears very old fashioned, even older than he is, 100-year-old fashioned, which would be togas and things that were worn during the days of the Republic. And very notably, his left leg is made of iron. It's a prosthetic leg. And you guys
seems like that
often
would
is
get
that
heavy.
seen?
Iron legs, very rarely. Prosthetics, relatively common. Regeneration exists. It's just so insanely expensive. Millions of dollars for a casting of regeneration, which most governors could afford, but he must have opted for an artificer making him a proper iron leg.
And he went with iron instead of mithril.
It seems so.
Or wood, or
Seems
anything
so.
lighter than iron.
Indeed, does seem so. So you guys walk down the hall. When you sort of pass the boundary to enter, the governor will stand. He gives you sort of a creaky smile and says, "Welcome, judges. It's been some time since I've seen your like here. I'm afraid I don't have enough chairs for all of you, so we'll all just have to stand."
That is no problem.
That's quite right.
Fair
I'll
enough.
extend my hand and I'll introduce myself.
Yeah,
And
he will give it
I
a
think
shake.
everyone else will.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
shake your hand, and as each of you is introduced, he'll sort of nod, and when you introduce Father Rixion, he says, "Oh yes, I know the father by reputation. He's been serving the Empire almost as long as me."
He looks older than me, right then?
How old are you?
63.
About the same age, actually. You're about in the same bracket.
Okay.
Grandpa upward.
I'll produce the
Yes,
orders
man.
and mandate.
Yeah, he will take a look at it. He pulls up some reading glasses that he had resting on his desk, and spectacles are ridiculously expensive, but governors can splurge, and he'll read the text of the decree and give a nod. So,
As he's reading it, I'll try and kind of peepo talk the explanation at him and be essentially, since a lot of the working men and the men that used to protect our cities have gone off to the Valiant War, we are being sent to help assist the governors of these lands in whatever they deem fit. Specifically, if there's any sort of crime or just troubles or issues that you're experiencing that we could lend a hand to, we would be
Yes.
honored.
well, this is quite helpful. He hands back the mandate to Father Rixion and says, "I'm a little bit confused as to why the Department of Faith is handling this. There's no heretics in my province.
No, God, no. That's not the reason why we come. I'm not sure.
And it's
It's a
the
mystery.
Don't get me wrong, there are problems I could have you address. It's simply I'm confused why why it's you instead of the Department of Civility.
Well, they wanted to put down a good effort, the Department of Faith, to restore a more prestigious state of the Pax Mithdosica.
He said the thing. He said the thing.
I appreciate your,
Think we're not in the Pax Mithdosica anymore?
he once said bring it back.
Oh, bring it
I
back.
appreciate your optimism, young man, but I will speak plainly. I have grown too old for tricks. This feels like a power grab, does it not? The Department of Faith coming in, assigning themselves the duties traditionally meant for the Department of Civility or War.
It very may well
seems
be.
they're busy with the planes.
We personally have no ulterior motives. I can.
Oh, I
promise
don't think
that.
you do, young man. You strike me as, trustworthy. But, well, the
He
department,
says it to like this undercover spy.
the department that you belong to is, well, it's somewhat notorious. I mean, the last governor that trusted the Department of Faith, I believe he's still rotting in prison, so I'm sure you understand my apprehensions.
Absolutely. We don't need to deal with anything like religious oriented or heresy oriented. We're simply here to help. I apologize if who is sending us adds confusion to this, but truly our duties are to help you with any kind of crime or disobedience or uncivility that's going on, anything that you could use a hand for.
He doesn't seem skeptical of you guys, but he does seem obviously, clearly skeptical of what brings you here. But he'll sort of shrug. Well, my province has faced some problems, so I suppose I can't look the gift horse in the mouth. I thank you for coming. There is a dispute in the foothills of the Atlian Mountains. I haven't gotten the full extent of the problem, but I know that there's some disputes amongst one of my quaestors and the people living in his village, or maybe he's a property owner. I don't know. I've received quite a number of letters from both sides complaining about the circumstances, but I find myself occupied with my duties here and then unable to make the trek out to the foothills to resolve the conflict. So
Do you have the letters?
he will look around at his desk, and you see stacks and stacks of various papers, and he'll look for like 10 seconds or so, and then he'll just sort of shrug.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were going to say that they were all letters. And I was
No.
like, fuck it,
No. It's all
Jesus.
other shit. So yeah, he'll just look around for a brief moment and then sort of shrug and say, I know they're somewhere in here. What I recall is that there was a young nobleman said that his father had earned some land due to military service, and the nobleman had tried to develop it, but the townsfolk were complaining. But he wasn't the quaestor of the village. He was just a senator. I don't know. It was a couple months ago, and well, since the screaming from the mountains, I've been a bit preoccupied.
Do you have a preference in this, in the result of
resolution.
this?
Yes, of course, whatever is legal and right.
Yes,
Of course.
of course.
He looks confused.
I glare at everyone else.
Well,
So, what is,
sometimes when we deal with cases, we have people ask us that we concur with their own already made up
Oh,
judgment.
well, that's a terrible miscarriage of justice. I would ask you to follow the law and
course.
nothing else.
I
I suppose I should
Yes,
clarify
we
then, since you're members of the
we
Department of
wouldn't
Faith, the
dream of it.
secular law, ideally. I recognize the Emperor's divinity as much as anyone else, but
What?
Wait, is he lying? I want to roll an insight check on that one.
sure.
God.
What?
He chuckled when he said that.
Literally, why?
He chuckled so weird when he said that.
So as he says, he respects the emperors, whatever. But I'm glaring like.
Yeah, he'll just say, well, but I don't wish to enforce religious law on my subjects. It's not my duty. I'm a secular leader. I'm sure you all
Yes.
understand.
Of course. And
How would you
circular
feel
laws-
if I went about? How would you feel if the Department of Civility went about enforcing your religious laws? I'm sure you'd believe there was some terrible miscarriage of justice. In the same way, I wish for you to, carry out my laws, not the laws of the church.
Of course.
So,
And the
Alex,
secular
is there
laws
like
in this
a-
matter.
What'd you ask, Peach?
The secular laws in this matter are.
I don't know. I don't even know what the problem is.
Renesmee, I have the book of laws with me.
Got it,
Would be
okay.
okay.
I just more so mean,
We
there's a
can handle
reputation
it,
amongst the
Robin.
Department of
We
Faith
have,
that whenever they go somewhere to deal with one problem, they happen to find a heretic and 3 traitors and 7 seditionists, and then the whole lot get sent to prison instead of the original problem that they were sent to deal with. It's a reputation, it's a stereotype, and I'm sure it's
Well, if
wrong.
you're harboring heretics, I'm sure we'll find them.
Well, that's my request, which is deal with the thing I've asked you to and not go on a witch hunt of my entire province.
Yes.
All
That
right.
shouldn't be an issue.
Good. And of course, if anyone reveals themselves to be some terrible heretic, I'm sure you'll deal with them accordingly. But, if you're looking for something, you're likely to find it.
Unfortunately,
Governor, we
that
won't-
is how it is.
He
We won't
shrugs.
stray beyond the bounds of our investigation too much.
Thank you.
Unless someone falls into our lap.
Yes. I guess.
Alright. Is there any other counsel that you could give us in perhaps the customs of the town, or just any counsel that you would give us
Well,
before heading
actually,
there?
I do need to find at least one of the letters because the name of the village is slipping my name. That was wrong. The name. I hate being old. And he sort of looks at you. You probably get it, Father Rixion. Things sort of drifting from your mind, your brain not moving as fast as it once did.
I'll bring out my worn Summa Theologica,
Apologize.
and I'll say, this keeps me sharp.
All right. Well, he begins to look through various papers on his desk, and he lifts up some things and drags out some other things, and eventually he pulls a crumpled piece from the bottom of the stack. It definitely isn't the first or the last communication in this chain of letters. It's probably one of the middle ones by the fact that he squints and seems confused by its contents, but sort of nods, say, "Oh yes." Well, it's the town of Rapola. It's in the Atlian foothills. It's about as far east as you can go. Well, within Sidalia, anyways. And the individual in question, let's see. Oh, he signed it with his initials. The etiquette of these youngsters, not even putting their full proper names. Let me find the other letter, and he begins to sort through the stack and then find this. Perfect. Titius Tullius. And again, with the initial on his family name. Well, Titius Tullius should be more than enough. I'm sure you'll find his family name when it's relevant. Is there anything else you would need?
Do you wish us to come back here when the
Oh
matter
yes,
is
there's some other
resolved,
things I
or-
can have you deal with.
Oh,
Excellent.
perfect. Oh, would it not be beneficial to know what they are in advance so that we can keep an eye out, just in case anything piques our interest or we learn something
Well,
that's
I
relevant to
guarantee it
those?
won't come up in your course of your investigation there. You see, I have some
Okay.
of my own colleagues, soldiers, whatever, employees looking into it, but if they don't make any... Yes, exactly. That's a very fancy term, but yes. If they don't make any progress by the time you return, then it'll be yours to deal with.
Ah, I see. Well then, wish us luck.
Of course. And he will, ease back down. The iron prosthetic will sort of hiss and pop as he does so.
Does he have a cane or anything, or does he just walk?
Very impressive.
Just walks on the leg.
An
Is-
absolute madman.
That seems really stupid.
Okay.
What a Chad. What a Chad.
Yeah, you guys will exit the office, walk down the hall, walk past the priestess at the... Or whatever, priestess is too fancy a term, but the religious one at the clerk's desk and head back out to your horses. You just mount up and you would just... There's no reason you would ever know, like, the name of Rapola, but through road signs and things like that, it'll be easy enough to navigate your way over there. As he said, it is about as far east as you can go before you're just
This
in the...
it?
Yeah.
We've gone past this place before, right?
Yeah. Your journey to the frontier was almost always like this, so you walked past it like 5 times.
Isn't this the way? That's the where we. Is this the city that was getting terrorized by the Hydra, or like close
I
by
think
to it?
yes. I think it either is the same city or yeah, it's close by. Actually, no. I'm pretty sure it's close by because you were closer to the river when the Hydra thing happened.
Is this where we stole Nami from?
No, I'm like 80% sure. No.
All right.
I'm like, actually, no. I'm gonna go with 99% sure. Actually, wait.
Okay.
You know, I can just check my notes because I got giga notes. Let's check. Session 1. Peach.
Oh yeah.
Horse stealing incident.
See, horse stealing. The DM agrees.
Well, you know, technically, but yeah. No, it was not Ripolla. That was in the province of
right.
Regia Nova. Same with the Hydra thing. They're both in Regia Nova. Okay, anyways. Well, hey, you have Nami now, so who's the real winner, okay?
Oh yeah, true.
So, yeah, it'll take about 3 days of reasonable paced travel across Sidalia. Luckily, there's no risk, no danger. It is quite literally probably the safest province in the Empire outside of Mithasia.
Oh man.
Well, don't speak too soon. We're about to go to the fucking foothills.
Know what?
Surely nothing bad will happen at the foothills.
No random encounter table.
No.
Nuts.
Just wait, we're about to get to the foothills.
If there was a random encounter table, do you know how fucked the Empire would be if, like, the average peasant had to risk running into something, like, even slightly
Every
dangerous? Yeah. Yeah, you guys make your way to in the direction of the foothills, and slowly the Atlian Mountains come into view. And I mean, Mithosia is remarkably flat. Just as a general rule, you know, it controls the plains, which are literally like flat grassland. Even Perton, relatively flat. Even the mountains in Gala Isle were shallow, very short mountains. The Atlian Mountains are not that. Not particularly large in the grand scheme of like global mountain ranges, but in terms of what you guys have seen in your life, they are very intense. They go from, you know, flat grassland to rolling foothills to thousands of feet high mountain peaks in the span of, you know, just a couple of miles. It's a pretty stark transition. These great granite slabs rising into the heavens. And since it's spring, most of the snow has melted as well. So it really is just these towering rock faces. But luckily you don't need to go to the foothills or the mountains. Instead, you make your way towards a sort of flat, grassy, agricultural village that looks the exact same to the past 100 that you've gone through. But this one has a little, you know, signpost that reads Ripolla as you approach it. Additionally, you do notice that rather than just being purely agricultural, in the foothills to the east, you see at least two guaranteed mines. Like they have mine carts and they have sort of open boreholes into the side of the foothills. But there's a third one where you just see the smokestack rising from behind a hill. So maybe it's a third mining camp, or maybe it's just a hunter's site. Who knows? But certainly a bit more industrial than some of the agricultural communities you've been passing through. So, what to do?
Well, who would be the highest duder in charge in these lands?
Likely the Quaestor.
Ah, Quaestor. Alright. Would you like to find the Quaestor, folks?
Sounds good.
All right. People are out in the field planting the spring crop. They give you timid but friendly-ish waves. Like, they seem a bit nervous of strangers, but they still try to, you know, give you some hospitality. There's, again, no major structure here that would, like, be like, oh, instantly, that's a Quaestor's building. But eventually, you know, after sort of walking through the town and asking for some directions, you will find yourself before a farmhouse. It's only a little bit nicer than other ones in the town, probably held by like private citizens. Out on the front porch sits a single guard. In fact, it's the only like armed man in the entire town as far as you can tell. He's in his late 40s. He has a spear that's sort of resting on his lap, and as you approach, he'll stand up and sort of walk over using the spear as a crutch. And he will give a salute and say, "Welcome to Ripolla." And he sort of sees the judge's badge present on, well, I think all of you would wear openly when you're doing this task, so he will see all the judges' badge and say, "Lord and Lady Judges."
Hello. We're here to speak with the Quaestor.
Of course. And he'll sort of head back to the door and he'll sort of wrap his knuckles against the main door. And again, there's no like proper servants, so he just heads on inside, and a few moments later, you know, you can get off your horses, you can be led into a sitting room. The soldier/servant will get you a tray of refreshments, and then a few moments later, a young man will come in. He's in his like late 20s, which is it's pretty hard to become a quaestor that young. Must have either like a very powerful family or got very lucky in life. And he will sit down across from you all, and he'll give a sort of pleasant nod and say, "Well, judges in Rapola, that's exciting."
It's nice to meet you, and I'll introduce myself.
Yeah, I'll shake your head and say, "Oh, well, I don't know that lady judge," and I'll point towards Grania, "but I know the rest of you by reputation."
Oh.
Oh.
Well, you're the judges from the Battle of Fort Romulus, right?
Indeed.
We are.
I don't think I
Yes.
was there.
Father Rixion, no,
Mostly.
you were not. He'll say, "And then you're Father Rixion, you fought in the Galentine War."
I did.
Wow, well, this is exciting. Yeah, my manservant outside, he fought at the Battle of Fort Romulus. His leg's ruined, never will recover, but he tells me great stories of his time in the Southern Legions.
What was the name of the guy? It was something Tullius, right?
Titius Tullius is the person in question that sent all those annoyed letters to the governor.
How many
We've
people
heard
did
of-
it seem like are in this town? Just a
Maybe
small
like
amount,
800.
So, okay, so he won't know every single person, but
Maybe, I mean,
Well,
part of the
like-
task of a quaestor is to know.
800
Like,
isn't very large.
maybe not literally everyone, but
I
if they're an
can't
important
remember
person.
800 names.
You think that, but honestly, maybe. Yeah, I believe in you.
My high school had like 1,000 people in it, and at first it's overwhelming, but then when you're like a year or two in, you recognize all the faces.
That's true. I think it's,
I
yeah.
recognize
He
all
would
of them on
probably
my
know
list.
anyone that's
Is
important,
that
put
true,
it that
Alex?
way.
Is
Well,
that
I have
true?
severe dementia, but I do remember like at least 50% of our graduating class.
I remember everyone in my
Fair enough.
graduating class, but I was like only had like 150 people.
So anyways, Yogi.
Yes. Oh, we're looking for something Titus. I forgot already what you said.
Or Titius
Something
Tullius.
tight. Titius Tullius.
Just Tullius.
Can I
something.
ask why? What's he
well,
done this
Sending
time?
many letters
Yes.
towards the proconsul.
He sighs very heavily.
well, it's just so we've heard that there have been disputes among the people living in this village,
He's been
Um,
sending letters to the governor? Seriously?
and I'm not sure that he's the only one. Something about a young nobleman that believes that his father earned land due to his military service, and he's trying to develop it, but now townspeople are complaining.
That is one version of the story, yes. It sounds as if it's from Titius's own lips.
May very well be.
Goodness. Well then, could you tell us what's going on if you do know?
I can't believe that judges of the Empire have been sent to adjudicate this. You should be off smiting evil or something. But I suppose you're here, and if the governor has sent you, you must view it as important. Well, I'm the quaestor of, I suppose, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Antonius Viria. Pleasure to meet all of you. Quaestor
Pleasure to
of
meet you.
Rapola. Essentially, it's a dispute of contract, I suppose. There was a man, Tullius Mamercus Appius. He was indeed a centurion in the legions, and he earned a plot of land here in Rapola. It's out near the hills, pretty sizable for his military service. He passed away a couple of years ago, and so his son, Titius Tullius, inherited the property. Now, his father had signed a contract renting away a piece of the property for a period of 3 years. The agreement was that the commoners who he'd rented the land to would develop the land, and then it would essentially be left to their devices for 3 years, and then new contracts could be negotiated. However, when Titius Tullius inherited his new lands, and he realized that a full year had passed and no work had gone on the land that had been rented, he decided to build a new mine there, essentially nullifying the previous contract, but nothing had been filed. There had been no proper procedure or paperwork, and so a couple of months later, when the commoners went to check in on their land to go do their, development of it, and they found it already fully developed and worked upon, they have attempted to sue Tullius, requesting a colossal sum of damages. They wish for Tullius to blow in the mine, move all the equipment, and allow them to develop the territory. And of course, Tullius has his legal arguments, and they have theirs, and there's barristers involved, and they want me to adjudicate it, but I don't really want to, so I pass it on to a praetor, and apparently he's been complaining to the governor.
And the governor sent us.
Apparently, I don't... Again, this seems like a legal problem, but I guess you are judges.
Well...
What were the commoners trying to develop the land into?
Well, I suppose I shouldn't call them... I shouldn't say commoners, it's a bit dismissive, but it's just one man. He's a wealthy farmer, Quintus Secundus. He's trying to make a dye works there. We have these naturally occurring clay deposits around here that make this very, very notable red dye. So he's trying to make a factory of sorts to develop and mass market it. But obviously the land, he was unable to work on it for some time due to, I don't know, whatever his problem was. And so now it's... Titius views it as void, he views it as not. It's a whole thing.
Well, you said that there was never any contract
Well, there was.
actually filed into the system.
The contract was signed that the land would be left alone for 3 years for the commoners to develop it, make whatever profits they wish, and then a new contract would be negotiated. It was Titius who violated that agreement entirely and simply started developing it a year in. But his argument is that since the commoners did nothing with the land for a year, their contract was null and void and forfeit, and so he was able to develop the land for his own purposes. He argued that it's for the good of the empire that he be allowed to continue with his mine, and that the commoners were, trying to denigrate someone of better station.
Does the contract,
Well,
the actual exact contract that was originally signed, still exist?
Probably. If I recall correctly, it's in the possession of the praetor who'd come to settle the dispute.
Where's the praetor now?
I've put him up at a townhouse of one of the fine citizens of our town. He's supposed to just be here for a couple of months, but he seems to still be deliberating on the case. It's been almost 5 months now.
Oh, wow.
We should.
Praetor from the Department of Civility.
Yeah, so praetor is a senatorial rank above that of aedile. They typically are like the lowest level judges in terms of, not like you guys, but like in terms of they resolve legal disputes. And typically, if you're a prestigious one, you'll be stationed in one of the big cities. But there are some who are given a huge area of countryside and told to like roam around and solve all the disputes in that area. And yes, they're in front of the Department of Civility.
If this is a case that the Department of Civility is already working on, we should just move along.
Correct.
Yes.
But deliberating for 5 months, there seems to be... Maybe we can pay him a visit and...
It is
ask if
very
he can
long.
need help.
Typically, praetors come into the town, hear both sides, and after maybe a couple days, they resolve.
Yeah, I just want to say that I want to recall... I guess I can say this in character if eventually we leave this manor thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, after you've heard
Absolutely.
what he has to say, he will, of course, offer his accommodations if you guys end up spending the night in the town. He'd love to hear, stories of what happened on the southern frontier and in the Galentine War. He seems to be a bit obsessed with it. You even can see he has some memorabilia collected from... It's actually kind of a grim sight. It's a bloodied, rusted sword, which is probably collected from one of the undead
Oh,
at the
no.
Battle of Fort Romulus.
Well,
And
once we're like outside, or maybe he like goes to another room or something to prepare something, I don't know. I'm just going to turn to the fellow judges and be like, well, if you recall, on the judicial order, one of the 3 points that was there was that we should not interfere with the Department of Civility if a case is already being prosecuted. So we should leave this one alone.
We're not... I
need-
think...
Source. Let us see the thing.
An orders and mandate. It's on the piece of paper.
Yeah, I
I-
can
I-
put it in Discord too.
I found it.
yeah, I will
right.
just bring back our
Oh,
orders and
it
mandates. There we
says
go.
it says that in those exact words.
Literally, yeah, word for word.
It also, unfortunately, says assist the governors with whatever issue they ask.
True. It does say that.
I feel like we
So-
have some leeway here. It says do not interfere. We're not interfering. Or let's just go to the praetor and ask him if we could offer our help. And if he doesn't want it, if he thinks he's fine on his own, then we leave him be.
The Department of
sounds
Civility. Let me look at the bar. Oh, we don't have the bar.
Yeah.
Do they
I'll hop
hate
back
us?
to it. I
think
think
that
they
we're
are
plus one
like
with
plus
them.
one. That is what I recall.
I think we have a +1.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
there
know
we
if
go.
we would talk to them, they'd just be really mad at us.
No, yeah, they seem to be fine. You guys recovered most of your reputation with the Gela Isle thing because, you know, that's kind of like pure good for the Empire, regardless of their personal problems with you.
And also, we got a +1 from handing in the case for the proconsul.
Also that, yeah.
Well, I suppose that we could ask him. I don't want to interfere with the Department of Civility, but as long as we are assisting them, as in kind of he leads, we follow, then I don't think that there will be any miscommunications.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he designated, like, explain that the praetors at the home of one of the fine citizens of Erpola. You do notice something as you're, making your way out to that farmhouse. Technically, the only thing separating the senatorial class and the commoner class is their ability to serve in political office. That's literally it. Like, you're allowed to own property, you're allowed to do all those things, but typically, commoners are just poor. It's not guaranteed by any means. There are very wealthy commoners, but most commoners, once they get wealthy, will just buy themselves into the senatorial class via adoption or some other means. However, this town seems to have a large number of very wealthy commoners. We're talking like sprawling estates on par with Zednius's in size. We're talking, debt slaves employed by them, horse corrals, vast pasture and grazing lands. Interesting, how that works out. That may be more common in Sidalia, but you certainly haven't encountered it very much. Making your way out to this farmhouse, a farmhand will see you coming and go up to the steps, and the reception that you get is even more, fancy than the one that you received at the Quaestor's home. There is several servants who come out onto the porch alongside what seems to be the master of the house, or maybe just the praetor. It's hard to tell, but someone of importance is at the head of the servants, and as the 5 judges approach, one of the servants is holding like a tray with drinks, and the man at the head of the servants will give a bow to all of you.
Does he look like a praetor?
No, he just looks wealthy, but again, praetors don't have like a guaranteed symbol of rank.
I didn't know if there was like specific clothing they wore.
No, they don't have sometimes really old-fashioned ones will wear like a judge's robes at all times, but that's like kind of impractical. But yeah, the man will give a bow and say, "Judges, welcome. Can I help you?"
Thank you.
Are you the praetor?
No, he's inside reading.
We were hoping to
here to see
speak with
him.
Ah, all right. Well, please come on in. I'll go inform him of your arrival. Does he know you?
Not yet.
All right, then, I'll just tell him that.
Reputation, yeah.
Well, I will tell him that judges of the Empire have arrived. Is there anything you'd like?
Some coffee, perhaps.
Can be arranged, absolutely. And he'll
You can
wave
tell
on
him
his
this
servants.
is in relation to the case he's currently working.
Working on.
All right, then. And he will head inside. You guys are, sit up on the porch. There's like chairs here, like wicker chairs. You all sort of ease down into them. The servants will begin to, do some basic grooming on your horses. Nothing crazy. And eventually, what will exit the house is a man in his mid-30s, large stomach. He has sort of like a very red nose and red, ruddy cheeks, and he smells of alcohol pretty strongly. Severus, just because your mind is always looking for these things, you notice burn pads on his thumb and index finger. You notice his veins are remarkably varicose, which would indicate the abusing of mother's milk or some other like opiate-based substance. The veins there look as if they've been frequently overused. We'll put it that way.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, this specimen, we'll call him, exits the building, and he sees you all, and he instantly does the proper deep bow, and he will sort of clear his throat and ease down into one of the wicker chairs. Welcome, judges.
Right now? Yeah, he's
judges of the Empire.
Good day.
So, okay. The good master said that you were here to speak to
Where are
me.
you right now?
How am I what?
Good sir.
Yes.
What combination of substances have you ingested today?
I don't have to answer that question.
How goes
Are
the
they-
progress on Titius Tullius's claims?
I'll immediately like shush Renesmee, like chill.
Oh, well, the case is a complicated one, and the town is so beautiful. I think it will take at least several more months to resolve.
Well, we could
Oh
help
my
you
God.
get rid of it
No,
real
actually,
soon.
I think it's going quite wonderfully.
Oh my God.
I tell like, I'll give Renesmee like a real glare, like Jesus, shut up.
Have you been writing letters to the governor?
Well, of course not. Why would I do that? This is the best job I've had in...
Oh my God.
I don't even know.
one writing them.
No,
No,
that was
it's
Titius
it's the best
Tullius.
job. What
It's the guy
provisions
with
are
the
you offered
claim.
here?
Well, the people of this town, I don't know where the wealth comes from, but they are very generous. Various dinners and fine offerings, and I mean, the prosecution and defendant, as judge, I have to stay neutral, of course, but they have attempted to offer me a great number of gifts.
It seems like you've been fully indulging yourself. Praetor.
I'm gonna start looking through my book, perhaps regarding like negligence of duty.
Yeah.
Something-
Yeah, you'll
something
begin to
along
flip
those
through the
lines.
pages of your tome, and the Praetor will respond to Renesmee and say,
Well, perhaps I have, but as is defined in subsection 13A-F within the bribery statute, since I didn't explicitly accept anything from the defense or prosecution with a quid pro quo involved, I should be perfectly fine regarding any prosecution if you're trying to imply anything untoward has taken place.
No, I just mean that it seems like you've really enjoyed yourself.
Oh, yes, I do. This is a wonderful city. Did you know that they actually got a special provision from the governor to grow pharmacia? It's one of the only places in the Empire where it's legal.
To grow and consume.
The consumption thing's more complicated, but arguably there is a legal doctrine in which it is justified.
and yeah, you continue to flip through your
I agree with
little-
that.
You flip through your little book, Maximus.
Prescription.
And inside, you find that negligence of duty within the Empire is a death penalty offense because it's typically imagined in the context of like a soldier or a governor essentially refusing to do their job. So the examples that are classic are a guardsman like falling asleep on duty and something bad happening, a governor refusing to deal with a problem in his province until it has escalated to the point of like government, like the empire itself has to intervene. These are like very severe cases, and thus the punishment is like death. But there's no examples given in your like law book for dummies about minor forms of negligence.
It also seems like this guy knows the law enough that he's doing it eventually, so it's not like he's completely like negligent. I don't know what the word would be. Like,
negligence.
Is this common from dealing with the Department of Civility that they usually just drag their feet? And...
No, absolutely not. And most of them aren't drug addicts.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should just report to this guy's superior, and that'll get him.
God, if there were cameras, I'd record him and show the other Department of Civility people, and they'd thank us for taking.
God
him.
bless,
But,
there
like,
isn't cameras.
I mean,
Statement from us
let's be
means a lot.
real. We don't need cameras. If we really felt like it, we could execute this guy on the spot. The problem is, the
Yeah, let it
Department
be
of
known,
Civility
yeah.
went pretty mad.
He's a praetor,
Yeah.
which puts him below you in rank. So technically, you can just like arrest him. Now, whether that would make any progress in a courtroom is very
It
unlikely.
also
But
take our Department of
Yeah.
Civility
Really
rank.
common
yeah,
practice.
but
Yes.
legally, like you are allowed to do almost anything.
Like,
Well, I
sorry,
guess-
Severus
oh,
is itching to
ask-
kill this dude.
Yeah. Well, would it be alright if we came inside and discussed some of the details of the case with you?
No, I'd rather stay out here. The wind is pleasant. I was just inside reading up on some new laws that have come down from the plains.
Ah, perfect. Well, then shall we sit here? And Renesmee will like tap the grass and sit cross-legged, like she's
So,
entertaining a fucking toddler.
How can I help you, Lady Judge?
Well, we're just
What about the case?
trying to learn about the details of the case, yes, and the progress that you've made.
He sort of leans back for a moment. He sort of closes his eyes. Says nothing.
Wake up, Praetor.
He
The
sort of squeaks
details
his
of
eyes
the
open and
case?
says,
I'm awake, and if I recall correctly, the judges and inquisitors of the Empire are still subordinated to the Department of Faith unless an imperial edict was issued while I wasn't paying attention, in which case that means that you have no jurisdiction over this case unless you've been given a specific mandate to. And I would imagine that your superiors in the Department of Faith wouldn't want to further aggravate our already strained relationship.
been executed. It's over for him.
Right.
We have a
I'm like-
direct mandate from the Emperor.
My hand
um,
is like
to
twitching
help with
towards my
whatever
dagger.
towards whatever issues the governors of these lands send us towards. And the governor of this land sent us to deal with this issue.
And did he give you a
So-
written document saying that you were to involve yourselves in the details of this case?
Yes.
Really? I'd like to see that then.
Oh, you have no authority overseeing
No
it,
such
that'd be great.
obligation.
Well, then it seems we are at an impasse. You produce no legal tender to prove that you have any authority over this case. I don't think you do. So, here we are.
And I'll produce the one from the Emperor.
No, don't do that.
No.
I'm
do
not
that.
giving this guy any important documents.
Oh,
Don't do that.
okay.
The less information, like, because if he's gonna read the second point and be like, all right, get the hell out.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, he is absolutely correct.
He is.
So I
But
think we need to have a quick talk here out of character.
I think we just write him up and move along.
Why?
Yeah,
Why are
literally.
we? Why? Yeah. I don't think we get involved in this.
I
think,
agree.
We document his fire moss usage, his other drug usage, his.
we just report that all back to the governor. And just,
Yeah.
Well, report to the
Call it
Quaestor
down there.
and then report to the government.
Report to the governor, CC, the head of this
Um,
town, and the person who rules over the Praetor.
I don't think the Quaestor is gonna like this guy's what like 2-3 levels above the Quaestor.
yeah, the Quaestor has literally zero authority over this Praetor.
We could
Oh,
also just arrest all the people bribing him.
Well, again,
He
knows his statutes, like, it'd be-
which is probably illegal. They're supplying him with
No,
more
potentially.
which we could arrest them for.
he'd have to be really stupid to like not have some plan on how to defend himself, because all it would take is like his
Well, he
superior
literally
dropping
just
in and being
the
like, "Oh, what are you up to?"
everything is that because there was no actual case ongoing, like with that person that gave him stuff, that's not technically
from the
bribery.
defendant or whatever. A direct
What he said,
person.
his direct quote was that if there's no obvious quid pro quo, then it's fine, meaning that you're allowed to make donations to public
Well,
officials. There's nothing wrong with
Seems
that.
like it's
then.
pretty obvious.
Sure, but his argument is that he's not,
But he can
ruling in
argue.
any particular side.
Pretty-
Yeah. We do have to argue like with a Praetor. I'm sure he would just go to court, right?
Yeah, and
This is
also
one
you're
of
not
those
charging him
things
with
where
something severe enough to like remove all of his rights, like with Galerius. All you're doing is charging him with like possession and negligence of duty, which he could easily fight both of those in an actual court of law, which I don't think you guys even care about doing. Like, you don't want to actually be
Yeah.
bogged down in a
Waste
legal
He's
our time in the
knowledgeable
court
enough
now.
that or he would waste a lot of time.
Yeah,
So
why
is
bother?
the opium drug illegal? And if we found the supplier,
So
could we
that one
arrest them?
is, mother's milk is like, okay, technically it's not illegal because it's a naturally growing plant. You can't like, it just wouldn't make sense feasibly. But the processing of it is illegal and the consumption of it is massively frowned upon. Typically there's never anything more than like a fine for it, but if people in positions of power, not like a judge,
Fine.
but like
Can we find the Praetor for it?
you could try, but he could always dispute it.
Okay.
I feel like
But it's
because we're
not
dealing with someone who's
typical
tricky with
ones
law,
doing it.
it's not smart to like try to take him to court
No,
on
we
it.
just go after his supplier and like
Now that would
Arrest
be,
them.
yeah, if you could get a supplier
Oh.
and then the producer of the drug, that person would get like actual death penalty.
if we care that much.
Yeah, if you care that much.
It'd just be funny to cut him off from his supply.
Can't we just poison the supply?
Jesus Christ!
wanna
You're
go?
not in the
No, we
Frumentari
cannot.
anymore. You can't go around
No.
assassinating people.
We can't do
go
that.
up to
This
something.
guy deserves death.
Jesus Christ. I don't even disagree, but you're a
cannot,
judge
yeah.
now, okay? You're like you're supposed to be
Yeah,
the.
we should set an example that traitors that
Yeah,
act
it's
like
wasting
this
the
get
Emperor's
fucking strung up.
resources.
Yes, and then our
This guy's a traitor to the Empire.
I'm not sure. Is that how that works, Alex?
Is what-
You
how
use
what
drugs,
works?
you instantly become a traitor to the
No,
Empire?
obviously not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
But he's intentionally
Yeah,
abusing
spiritually, he's
the-
a traitor.
No, he's like
Nixon and
intentionally
Esme after that
abusing the
one.
laws of the Empire to cost the Empire and its people more,
That is true.
and like
Yeah.
fucking with it.
Yeah, he's leeching off the system as much as possible so that he can chill out in a town where he can do as much drugs as he wants for several months, maybe even a year. It's based.
He's a leech. How did he even become
Kind
a
of smart,
Praetor?
actually. Yeah.
That is a insanely good question, Yogi. Praetor, like Maximus will if Maximus is lucky, he will end his career after being a judge, after being like a senator and all that stuff. He'll be lucky to become a Praetor. Becoming a Praetor is not easy. It's very difficult.
Why
And
wouldn't he just? Isn't a judge a higher rank? Why wouldn't he just want to stay a judge if his
Well,
highest
judge
calling is Praetor.
is technically a higher rank.
Maximus?
Technically,
Yeah.
but like not really. Like you can't progress past. Like judges are outside the typical rank hierarchy. Like you can't progress from a judge to a higher rank, whereas as a senator you can like rule people, make a fuck ton of money, lead armies, you know, all those things which judges
Also, as a
can't do.
judge, you kind of never really retire. You're just always on duty.
Correct, and you will likely die. Most judges die within 5 years.
Oh, unfortunate.
That's a potential reason why Maximus would want to retire and do something else.
That
Yeah.
he loves his money.
Also that. So anyways, yeah, that's what the
He's already
Praetor
rich
said
enough.
what he said. It sounds like you're sort of split on trying to punish him or it's leaving this town.
I'm fine just leaving and telling the governor.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like the government would want us to actually deal with the case.
It also says carry a heavy hand of justice, right? So I'm thinking in between here, we can't interfere with the Department of Civility case if it is already being prosecuted, right?
Yeah.
So we can't get involved in the actual case itself. But we do have suspicion that a crime of some kind is going on here, right?
That's not the crime the governor sent us for.
Sure, but there's nothing saying we cannot prosecute a crime if we find it, right? It simply says do whatever they ask us to, right?
And remove
Well, we
crime
can't-
from the land.
Yeah, he basically just didn't want us to interrogate every citizen trying to find out if they're a heretic.
Yeah, that's
Is
what the
what I
governor
got.
said. Also, to be clear, when you're interpreting these sort of like mandates from the government, from your boss, you can do what Maximus is doing. I think it's awesome to try to be like, well, technically we're not violating the mandate. That's perfect, no problem with that. But the spirit of this intention was very obvious. It was that you're supposed to do specifically what the governors tell you and like try to be chill and just like solve issues for them. But if you want to interpret it that way, that's totally fine because you're right. The writing here is kind of vague and sometimes contradictory. So. Could
Well,
be
if we just
interpreted
get
however
it
you
in
want.
writing from the person that literally told us to deal with this case because he keeps getting letters for it, can't we just use that?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what else we do, right, is if we find this supplier and or producer, we don't like relate it back to the Praetor, right? So all we've done is cuck the Praetor, but we haven't actually like prosecuted
So we're
him
just-
or done anything. We don't link them at all, right? We're
It
just
just
like,
sounds like being petty. for
while
no
we were
reason.
here, we found some dude committing this crime. Okay, bye now.
Well,
And then he's stuck with no drugs.
I mean-
except for fire.
I mean-
I guess.
Personally, it seems just petty and a waste of time if we're not actually going to do anything about it, really.
You'll
You'll just get more drugs eventually.
And I don't think that the governor would be sad. He'd be like, okay, I'm still getting letters though.
It's petty and a waste of time to prosecute the laws of the empire.
the
The
drug
person
dealer, yeah.
that's sending him the drugs is like the defendant that's getting the quid pro quo to make him not do anything. If we arrest that guy, then he has no reason to not just finish the case because
True.
he's not because that's his supply. Nobody else is going to just supply him for fun. They're supplying him for a reason.
Could be.
That's true.
Well, I
You
mean,
could also.
probably because
I
he's
feel like
paying.
that's such large effort, though. Actually proving that shit in like court, that he's like.
Well, no,
We're not
what
trying
Maximus
to
is
prove
saying
that,
is you
we're
don't
just
prove
getting
it.
rid
No,
Yeah.
see, we don't bother with any of that. We just arrest the peasant who's fucking dealing in drugs. Call it
Yeah.
a day there.
You should, and surely no one's gonna,
We're also
sit in
assuming
that
it's gonna be
vacuum of
simple.
drug dealing.
I mean, arresting a
It's not
peasant
just
should be that simple, right?
It's just gonna do
Okay, well, to
fine.
be clear, real
We
quick,
literally just
citizens
don't
of the
know.
Empire do have legal rights, and since this isn't like a crazy charge, it would have to go through the court system. But if you catch him with something like, an entire fucking processing thing inside of his house, then he's fucked no matter what. So, like, yeah,
No,
it's
literally just don't know enough about this. Could be some underground criminal organization that's supplying it. We
that
just
is
don't
what I
know.
was going to say. There's no guarantee that this involves the defendant or the prosecution in this case, so you're kind of just going out of limb. Or, fuck it,
Okay.
just look into it to punish him.
I think this is unrealistic to be able to pursue well. Most likely just gonna lead to a dead end, or take so much effort that it's not worth it.
Yeah,
Reporting
unfortunately.
this guy
I
seems
agree.
easier. Without killing him.
I mean,
Well, sometimes I guess,
I
the
think-
evil wins in this
think-
particular incident.
I guess.
All right. Well, we withdraw.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll look at the Praetor. Well, our mandate has clearly designated we shall not interfere with a case if the Department of Civility is already prosecuting it. I simply came down here to confirm you were prosecuting it. It seems you are.
Yes, this case is in
no
wonderful
one-
hands.
If no one has anything else, I think we'll be on our way.
All right. Yeah,
Alright.
down to your horses. He seems to be dozing off in the chair. You mount up.
Yeah, that sounds
We're
about right.
writing something to the governor, right? And then we're just going to the next place.
Well, no, we're going
Well,
back to the governor.
has other stuff for
He
us.
had more. He had more he wanted us to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you guys ride westward. It's a
Sorry, if the governor says, "What the fuck? You need to get rid of him," then we'll do that.
And we just get
But-
that in writing and then come
well,
back. Yeah.
well, that would actually directly contradict your orders from the from your boss. Like, you're not supposed to be fucking with the Department of Civility.
Oh, it's like not even if we're directly.
Well, I mean, okay,
ordered
again,
to?
letter of the rules, no, you can do whatever you want. Technically, it just says don't interfere with their active cases, but the Department of Faith said that because the relationship between them and civility is really bad right now, and if you arrest a member of the Department of Civility and try to prosecute him on something as minor as drug possession...
The government
it's
can deal
probably
with
not
it.
gonna- Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys ride back over the course of 3 days. I think it's probably a pretty annoying 3 days. You know, you had to spend 3 days riding out, 3 days riding back, all for this, you know, drug-addicted
Okay.
This
municipal
fucking
judge.
bozo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you ride back
What
in the
was
city of
his
Flamium, ride past the outer portions of the city, head to the sort of city hall near the docks. The same woman is on duty. She will, direct you up into his office. Old Iron Leg, you know, the governor. He's not particularly busy at the moment. He seems to be reading a sort of fantasy book, or maybe like some sort of, definitely not
What would
history.
a fantasy book in a fantasy realm look?
Yeah, what does a fantasy book look like?
Well, the title of the book is Saint Pelinal and the Seas of Rage, and there's a little illustration on the page that he's looking at. The left-hand side is the full, like, sort of medieval tapestry-style illustration, while the right-hand side is text, and it depicts a guy standing atop a raft with a sword in one hand, a shield in the other, and flames exiting from his chest.
Okay, so he's reading religious fan fiction.
Kind of. But yeah, as you guys enter, he'll close the book and say, "Wow, you judges sure are efficient. What was that?
Well-
Less than a week?"
Not quite. The Praetor is on crack.
What?
It's okay. We went there. We investigated the case. We talked to the local quaestor about what's up with it. He said that the contract is it's a he said she said type of situation where the Praetor of the Department of Civility is currently going over it. We visited the said Praetor, and the Praetor is very clearly not in any hurry because he's getting supplied with all kinds of drugs.
Yes, drugs, crack.
But as you can see,
Fireballs,
we had
likely milk of the poppy, and most certainly lots of alcohol.
Yes,
But
and
as you see from our mandate, this is out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah, he sort of wrinkles his lips. Well, that's rather unpleasant.
Can't really
Unfortunately,
interfere
yes.
much here. The Department of Faith already has very strained relations with the Department of Civility.
I just wonder why. Actually, one moment. He sort of stands and says, "Lucretia, go find that letter. I think it's still in the archives room, maybe the one from the young man from Rapola from like 2 weeks ago." And the woman who is at the clerk's desk walks down the hall, walks into his side door. He sits down and says, I need to understand why I'm getting it. I just don't understand if there's already a Praetor sign there, regardless of how, well, as you described him, inebriated he is. I still don't know why I'd be receiving letters." And the door opens and Lucretia enters the room and hands over the letters. His desk seems to have been organized since you last visited, at least a little bit better. And he'll sort of open up the letter, read it, and say, "Oh, I see the problem. I feel bad. I didn't know it was in your mandate not to interfere in the Department of Civility. I have wasted your time." In this letter, he explicitly complains about the Praetor dragging his feet on the investigation. Well, that is unfortunate. And you say you can't do anything about this?
Unfortunately, we can't interfere with the Department of Civility at all.
The best we could do is maybe, with some luck, find his supplier in on the side of the mother's milk, and maybe that could achieve a small amount, but like unlikely.
Is there any way you could get him to recuse himself from the case so that you can resolve it?
I don't
It doesn't
think
seem
that
like
there's
it.
any way. He's enjoying himself far too much.
And I'm pretty sure the reason he's enjoying himself is because he's at the case.
I see.
Oh, it is, most certainly. He probably had to actually do work when he was working on other cases, but you have fine lands here and very generous peoples who have indulged him in food, wine, and, of course, various substances, and he is putting off and dragging his feet on this because he wants to
Enjoy the
prolong his
hospitality.
indulgement.
What does the Empire come to? You great departments are feuding so badly you can't even do what you're supposed to do. Deal with the other departments. I don't blame you, of course. It's just the state of things.
Yeah, this is
It is so unfortunate and disgusting to see it occur.
truly.
Well, I suppose we should get to more serious matters. If this thing can't be dealt with, my agents have made no progress in investigating the other matter. How do I explain this? I guess I'll just show you. And he reaches into one of his cabinets, and there, he opens it up. There's a glass sort of like barrier. He puts his hand on that glass barrier, and an arcane sigil sort of rises up off the glass, and then the glass seems to almost disappear. And he reaches his hand into the cubby and withdraws an amulet, which he then places on the little pillow that was holding it onto his desk. About 3 weeks ago, my very small city garrison was searching incoming vessels. You see, we don't get many, so we're able to do more aggressive checks for smuggling than cities like Ravinium or Mythos. And in the hold, we found spices, which were imported under the wrong label. It's technically illegal with smuggling, but it's a small crime. We just find them and then they move on. But then, one of my men started to, check the spices. He put a spear through it, poking things, and then he hit something hard. And this was located beneath the spices. I had my wizard that I hired investigate this amulet, and the Arcanist claimed that this here is capable of casting Fireball, Scorching Ray, and a number of other highly destructive spells. This was smuggled in beneath the spices, within a crate that was marked with something else, underneath a dozen other boxes. Clearly, a lot of effort was used to get this inside the city. The man who smuggled it all in, he was a captain of a small skiff, killed himself almost immediately. And, I haven't really made much progress in figuring out where it is. I have the body preserved, but I personally have no means through which to cast Speak with Dead, and the men I've assigned to investigate it haven't been able to find anything about the ship, or why this would have been smuggled into the city. I'm greatly concerned. All I know is the identity of the man, the name of the ship, and that he was trying to get this into my city.
Who was with him on the ship?
It was a very small crew, but we did intensive background checks and discovered they were all hired on to his ship when he arrived in Ravinium. Before that, he came from the city-state of the Invincible Overlord, and again, he hired a crew just for city-state to Ravinium, and then let them all go at that harbor. I can tell he's a professional smuggler. These are clear signs, but the crew knew nothing of him.
Would commit suicide as soon as he's found out.
Yes. It was a grim thing, too. He was being held by one of my men, while the other one was poking amongst the barrel, and according to the man, the moment that they found the amulet, he took a dagger to his own throat.
Most likely to prevent interrogation.
Well, if he was trying to do that, he's clearly failed. I just need to find out the right cleric that can help me talk to him again.
Where the amulet was
Alexia, do you recall
found,
that?
did he literally end his own life, immediately? Could you see them finding it?
Yes. The amulet had been pulled up from the spices. There was a clear... Again, this is from the reports of my men. You could ask them yourselves.
Yes.
But my soldier looked at the amulet. He recognized its magical nature. Look at that thing. All the jewels on it, the glowing central brooch, it's clearly magical. And they sort of made eye contact, and then the man just took a dagger out of his waist and just stabbed himself in the throat instantly. I don't imagine this is a traditional smuggler. There's no reason for them to kill themselves. We could have fined him. He probably would have spent some time in prison, but it certainly wouldn't be a death penalty offense for smuggling this in. And perhaps he could have even flipped on whoever had hired him to bring it in. It makes me wonder if there's something much more nefarious taking place.
It sounds like there is.
Exactly. I've already made requests to the Department of Faith and for a cleric to be sent, but they're dragging their heels, such as with all requests made to them. Again, no offense to you all, you seem lovely.
Yes, of course. Well then, I suppose, could we speak to the men that were on the ship, the soldiers that you had? And then
Yes, of
maybe
course.
see the body?
Sure.
I assume the vessel is still here.
Oh yes, it's the only ship in the harbor at the moment. We've just sort of tied it down with chain, though no one's made any attempt in the last 3 weeks to get onto the vessel or get the rest of the mundane cargo. His men, we had to release. We did, again, everything that is in my power to get from them in over 2 weeks, and we found nothing, so it felt inhumane to keep them any longer.
Well then, would it be alright if we searched the ship first?
Of course, feel free. And I'll send my soldiers to meet you at the vessel.
That sounds great, thank you.
Yeah, you guys exit the city hall. It's right on the harbor anyway, so it's just a brief little walk for you out to the pier. It is literally the only ship in the harbor. So you walk down one of 4 piers, head out to this vessel. As he said, it's a small cutter. This would have a crew of maybe 4 people. It could really only hold like 4 crates as well. Typically, these aren't like cargo vessels. They're literally just used by like smugglers and nobles, or sometimes like pleasure sailors, but definitely not standard cargo. It has a little label on the side, which reads the Wander Sail, the name of the vessel. It has no signs of damage, and yeah, you can climb onto the top deck. Again, since it's like it's a cutter, that means you have a top deck and then a single like bottom little area for cargo, and that's it. There's nothing like, there's not several decks or any crazy shit.
I'll tell Severus, like... Oh no, Severus doesn't have detect magic, then I guess I'll do it. Oh...
What?
Oh wait,
I have
no, you
detect
do
magic.
have detect magic. What was the thing that only Zenius had?
That was just free detect. Like I could just do it.
Yeah,
at will.
I have
didn't
to do it
do a
ritually.
10-minute ritual.
Okay. Well, I'll climb on board and I'll do it, why not? I'll
Wait,
Yeah.
can he do it at will?
No, I can do
Zenius
it
could, yeah.
ritual.
Well, Letnius is not here.
Yeah, I know, that's
No.
what...
Yeah, but I can do it
Yeah,
as a ritual.
so you start
That's
ritual
what I'm
casting detect magic. What are the rest of you guys doing? What's Granny doing? Oh. Silence. Feels bad, man. Now Dota's mute as well.
Oh no.
I know. It's
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know.
Oh, hi, Dota.
Oh no. He's back.
What? Did he say anything?
He said one thing and now he did. Oh, hi.
I don't know. Probably just poking around the ship, seeing if there's any like rats or anything scurrying around.
Fair enough. Roll a perception check. Maximus, what are you up to?
I'll start searching for any really hidden compartments, false boards, things of that nature.
Yeah, roll an investigation check.
I'll also be doing that.
Sure.
Advantage?
No. Two
And I
separate
will
ones.
be using detect magic.
Nads.
Okay.
Not static.
Nice.
Yeah, Granny, you head to the bottom hold. It's pretty cramped down here. You have to like crouch to move around. There's 6 boxes, like
I think
6.
it's height.
Oh. Automatically.
It's really short. It's like 4 feet. I think anyone would have to stoop, including Granny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 6 crates in here, but the lids have been taken off and most of the contents have been spilled out. They are just grain, which is, again, you'd never transport grain on a vessel like this. It's incredibly economically inefficient. But you guess that these boxes have been searched, and since this grain has been left here for 3 weeks rotting, sure enough, you will definitely find several rats, probably a small little swarm of them, like 8 or 9, eating the rotted grain from outside these crates. And there's also mealworms crawling around in about half the crates that have just sort of colonized this free real estate.
I'm just gonna crouch down and watch the rats.
Right.
Okay. As for Rixion and Maximus, the two of you begin to feel along the vessel. The thing is, there's so little space on this ship. Most of the boards are structural, so like there's not gonna be anything behind them. Your best bet would be like on the top deck, like where the sort of what do you call that thing? It's not, I was gonna say the steering wheel, but it's not what it's called. Whatever that. You know what I'm talking about.
The helm, the tiller.
It's not the helm. The helm is like the area, not the thing, right? No, it is the helmsman, so it is the helm. Yeah. Yeah, the helm of the vessel, that's the best place to put it, because there's actually room to, like, have a hole in the boards, but you search thoroughly and find nothing. And Renesmee and Severus, the two of you, finish your detect magic castings, and, you look around the vessel. You don't notice anything. It's pretty small. Like, you can basically see the entire vessel from where you're standing. So it's not
Can
even
I
like you have to walk around.
investigate with my detect magic up? I would notice any normal things, but then also something sprung up as magic.
Not really. Like, you can see literally everything. Like, the boat is pretty
The
small.
only
You can
thing
see
is
the
there's
entire ship right now.
certain like thickness of things that wouldn't allow you to see through, but if the
Correct.
boat doesn't work that way, then it doesn't.
Got
Yeah,
it.
the wood thing I think is a foot thick, and this is nowhere near a foot thick. It's like 6
Got
inches
it.
thick.
I'm going to, as I'm wandering around, I'll see Grania staring at mice. And I'll, like, just watch her for 10 seconds and be like, what the fuck is she doing? And then I'll be like, oh! And then I'll start casting Speak with Animals.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
Nice.
Rania, you watch as the rats who were originally afraid of your arrival continue to frolic and eat amongst the grain. You know, they don't have much longer until this feast goes rancid even to them, but until then, free food. And eventually, Renesmee, your Speak with Animals finishes, and you step down into the lower hold, sort of stooping so that you don't bump your head against the roof next to Grania.
And I'll say out loud at first, and I'll be like, going to try and speak with the mice. Don't be alarmed. And then I'm going to speak with the mice.
All right,
And I'm
everyone on
going
the
to
vessel
say-
begins to hear Renesmee squeaking.
I'm going to say, excuse me, mice.
A particularly large, shaggy rat takes a few steps across the pile of grain inside the crate, pulls himself up to the lip of the crate, and looks at you with 2 little beady black eyes.
Oh, hello.
The other rats sort of cringe away, but this one rat stares at you.
And he was gonna point at it.
And I'll say in common, yes, I'm speaking to him. And then I'll say back in rat, you, sir, you seem weathered. Have you been on the ship long?
Ever since the food arrived?
Ah. And you've been in the crates of food.
Oh, yes. A great free bounty.
Have you found anything other than food?
Of course not.
Oh. Well, you know, sometimes there are pesky objects in the food bins, you know? Nothing down there, though.
No, just food and the thing eating the food, which we then eat.
What's eating the food?
Grubs.
Oh, the grubs. Are there any weird passages here? Anything secret that I can't see? Anything that only a mouse could find?
The hole we made.
Oh. Where did you make the hole?
Well, I can't tell you, or it wouldn't be secret.
Yes, but I'm a talking human. I'm a talking human that's talking to a
Put your
mouse.
rat under the zone of truth.
Absolutely not. That's our way on and off this rig. I wouldn't trust you.
Do you know if any of the other mice or rats on board were here during the voyage?
No. We just found
You
this
don't know?
place.
Oh.
And we got here first, so you can't have any.
Oh, I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here because the dude on board of the ship, he was hiding stuff. Hiding something that isn't food, but is just as good as food to us humans. And I'm trying to see where he got it, or if he has more hiding on here.
No.
Yeah. Well,
The rat will continue to stare.
you like to talk, huh?
Maybe. It's strange.
Yeah. You're quite intelligent for a rat. How old are you?
Many rains, many storms, many days and nights.
Would your answers to any of my questions change if I had some cheese or sugar or berries?
Well, I suppose then I'd say you could have some of our grain.
Oh. But you really don't know anything else about the ship?
We just got here.
Okay. Are there any other animals on the ship, or like
Grubs.
bugs or grubs?
Rolling about in the grain, eating to their heart's content.
Well, thank you very much, little guy.
The rat
And-
will scurry back into the pile.
Yeah, he seems so sweet.
Feasting with his
Thank
fellow
you.
rats.
He deserves all that grain.
Well, you and Grania can return to the top deck.
Yeah, it seems like I'll tell other people. I spoke to the rats on board. I mean, they just got here, but it doesn't seem like there's any secret passageways. They've really investigated the food barrels in and out, and they say that it's just food in there. Nothing else. So, doesn't look like there's anything on here. Detect magic isn't showing anything. Who knows?
No, well, there could just very well be nothing here.
We might have found the single piece of...
And why would the man kill himself?
Well, we don't know. Well, kind of, we don't know. Of course. Well, I presume that he thought that his fate was going to be worse than death. If perhaps who hired him, or who sent him
Grania will
down
talk on
there.
Renesmee's cloak.
Yes, Granny?
She'll sign the word curse.
Curse. What could it mean?
What do you mean, Grania?
He'll think for a second. Curse, make, man, dead.
It seems that Grania is trying to tell us that she believes that there might have been a curse on the amulet that forced the man to kill himself.
I can.
Does the governor still have the amulet?
It was on the desk, so presumably.
Oh, then.
But he had a
yeah,
wizard
Severus
identify
should
it, so.
Identify
Indeed.
it.
Perhaps the wizard that he hired just did a troll face and didn't mention the fact that it made people kill themselves.
Maybe.
Or it could be something that dispels afterwards.
True, there are also some curses that are literally indetectable until you equip the item, or like attune to it. So
I think we should maybe see the corpse of the man who killed himself. If there's any type of lingering curse on him, I might be able to identify that.
That's
Out of
very smart.
character, there's stuff like Pax Archon that are like promises that they break them, they can each die.
not in this plane of existence. Back in Athaloran, yes, but in Valoros, it would. You'd have to break your warlock pact or something insane, or like be a paladin and violate your oath for something that insane to happen. Those are that'd be super rare. Yeah. Athaloran, of course, that's different. You can easily fuck yourself by making an oath and instantly breaking it. But yeah, as you guys head down the dock, the two soldiers that you requested earlier, the two men that searched the vessel, will approach. They're not like the most, they're like a good middle ground of legionnaires. They're not the absolute dregs that were stationed on Gela Isle, who are basically just militiamen, nor are they like professional legionnaires. They got like a bit of pep in their step, they got proper uniforms that they clearly care for, but they also like, you know that they wouldn't be very useful in a fight, but that's okay. You know, they're just town guardsmen, essentially. So yeah, the two men will approach down the dock. One's a bit, like, in his late 20s, the other one's in his early 20s, and they'll both give, you know, very intense salutes at the five of you as you're climbing off the boat.
Oh, hello.
Lucas, reporting for duty, Lady Judge. We were the ones that searched the vessel.
Thank you. Yes. We were wondering if you could tell us more about the man. His behavior. We heard that he instantly tried to and succeeded in killing himself. So we're trying to understand just more about him.
The
Tell us
younger of the
everything
two
you
men,
saw.
you know, he seems a bit, like, he's shuffling a bit. He seems very uncomfortable by this conversation, but the older one will sort of adopt a parade rest, hands behind his back, chest puffed out, and say,
Yes, ma'am, I was the one holding him. I assumed he was going to stab me with it, so I went to protect myself, but when he stabbed himself in the throat, I wasn't ready for it. We tried to get him back into the city so that some sort of physician could tend to him, but apparently he hit himself in an artery, and so he was dead by the time we got to the physician.
Interesting. Did the physician make any notes? Who was the physician?
A doctor employed by the governor.
Ah, okay. And did the physician mention anything else?
I don't know, ma'am. You know, that's the governor.
Okay. How was he acting when you apprehended him at first?
Yeah, well, to be honest, he seemed pretty confident when we started searching his vessel. he said that he was a nobleman visiting his father. He brought some grain along with him to restock his father's stores. We said that here in Flamium it's standard duty to check his vessel. He seemed to be expecting that. He provided us with a full manifest. So we started searching some things, but I still don't really know why, but I just sort of had this feeling that he was hiding something. You know, he didn't lie. He didn't stammer. He was pretty well dressed. He even had that sort of noble bearing, like I shouldn't search him, like he was above it. But I had this feeling that I should, and so we started looking to some of the crates. He got a bit more nervous, but then when Marcus here, and he points at his younger partner, when he opened up the crate, he sort of almost fessed up. He even said, yeah, well, yes, he was trying to get some spices to his father, and he didn't want to pay the tariff on it, but he'd be happy to pay the fine. And the fact that he was so willing to go along with it, that made me even more suspicious. So I told Marcus to search the crate, and that's, you know, when we
Did the
found
man
it.
ever tell you his name?
Well, he didn't, but the governor later found out his identity.
And do you recall what that was?
Well, of
I'm
course.
sure we could get it from the government.
No,
Yeah.
of course. It's not every day that you meet a great senator. It's Hortius Primus Viria. He belongs to a great clan. I haven't met many of them in my life.
He's a senator.
Well,
And-
yes.
This is that is his confirmed identity, not his cover identity.
Well, I don't know. That's just what the governor told me. He said that he was a member of one of the great clans of the area.
Granny's gonna pull Renesmee's cloak again.
I look at her.
Is she gonna point to the younger of the two sisters?
I'm going to sign at her. Yes.
She'll think for a second on how to say it and then say, feel weird after picking up amulet.
Marcus.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me, from your perspective, how everything played out?
Well, I followed Lucas onto the vessel, and I thought the guy was acting normal, but I mean, he told me to search, so I opened up crates, a lot of grain, things like that. Then I found the spices, and I mean, it was pretty surprising. I mean, those are expensive things. And then I started poking around the crate, and I hit something hard. And I went down and I grabbed it, and then he stabbed himself.
When you picked up the amulet, you recognized that it was magical.
It was glowing.
It was glowing.
Sometimes magical items and objects, when you hold them, they make you feel a certain way. Did you feel any way when you held it?
I can't rightly say, Lady Judge. I mean, I was feeling pretty disgusted, but I don't think that was in relation to the amulet.
You said it was glowing. Did it glow for a short time after you picked it up, or did it continue glowing the entire time?
Until we turned it over to the governor, it was glowing the whole time, the central brooch.
Yeah, it was glowing when we saw it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Just making sure it's like not glowing because activation.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Since then, Marcus, have you been feeling all right? And you as well, Lucas. Have you
Lucas
both
gives
been
a nod.
feeling all right?
But Marcus says, I've been a bit shaken up. I've never seen someone die before.
I'll nod my head very understandingly. Yes, I am so sorry that you had to experience that so young. Have you been
Granny is
having?
ignoring this and like walking around and looking at all his sides and stuff.
Have you been having nightmares or hearing any strange things? I'll like look at Marcus, but then I'll remember that I should look at Lucas too, so that it doesn't like seem like I'm more concerned about him.
Lucas shakes his head and says, "No, ma'am, been doing just fine." And Marcus says, nothing strange, but some bad dreams, yeah."
May I ask what the bad dreams are about?
He continues to shuffle, significant, very uncomfortable with this line of questioning, but he'll say, "Yeah, I just keep seeing those eyes of his. You know, he looks surprised, but then he had like this look of resolution, like I don't know, like he had to do it, and then he just, yeah."
Does Granny
He-
recognize this at all?
What?
This effect? Does
Yeah,
seem
it sounds
there's a
like someone who
magical-
saw someone kill themselves in front of them.
No. I
Yeah.
mean, like the way that the smuggler acted.
Oh, yeah,
The
there's a lot.
immediacy of
Yeah, so
suicide.
it could be a ultra insanely high level enchantment spell. Most enchantment spells explicitly say you can't make someone harm themselves, but there are some that do. Though that seems very unlikely, because if you're talking like 8th level enchantment spells, at that point you could just cast an illusion and make it literally impossible to find anything being smuggled in. So
Does he just not know about the speak with dead stuff then? Is he just stupid?
maybe, but also Speak with Dead doesn't compel you to tell the truth. You can just like
Yeah.
refuse to answer or lie.
How does work with? How long does speak with dead last?
Can
I think
you
it's 10
lie with
minutes.
speak with dead?
Yes.
Can you zone
Yeah.
the truth with speak with dead?
Yeah. No.
No.
If somebody
feel
speaks
any-
with dead on a corpse, that corpse can literally just answer every question, fuck off, and then leave.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do they feel anything still, or are they just only able to answer questions and that's it?
They
basically-
do feel things, but they are suffering regardless of whether you ask questions or not. It is a horrific experience to have Speak with Dead cast on you.
You're like animating like a fragment of like a body's.
Yeah, you're rending their soul away from their afterlife, which typically is very pleasant, and so you're taking them away from paradise, putting them in a rotting corpse, and asking them questions.
Well, if they
Presumably
went to
paradise.
paradise.
If they went to paradise, yeah.
Maybe it's like a chill vacation from hell.
I'm pretty sure something killing yourself doesn't need a paradise.
Maybe. It depends what faith he follows.
Did he look like he hesitated or anything, or did it seem like just one swift?
Marcus will shrug, and Lucas will say, "No, ma'am, he seemed quite confident. He reached down to his waist, grabbed his dagger. Like I said, I was convinced he was going to strike me, but it was just an instant plunge towards his neck. If he'd been a second slower, I probably could have caught his wrist."
Dagger was just an ordinary dagger, I assume.
Interesting.
I believe so, sir. I turned it over to the governor along with all the other evidence.
Of course.
Would you mind if I just I'm going to sit over there and I'm going to take some notes, just the things that we've already spoken about. And I'm going to go off a little bit. I'm going to pretend to take notes, and I'm going to actually be ritual casting detect magic.
Okay.
Will they see it in my eyes? Does that always happen?
Once
Detect
it
magic is
happens, yes.
finished, yeah.
Okay, never mind. Then I won't say that, and I'll just say, okay, my fellow judges are going to take it from here, and then I will go to my own place.
Sure.
I'll detect magic. Yeah, I don't want to lie to them if they'll find out.
Sure.
Go ahead and try to get the guard's attention, try to show where on the neck that he did it.
Yeah, Lucas, the older of the guards, he'll look over and say, yeah, sort of close to where your finger is, but it's more so directly on the vein. You know, the dagger wasn't very large, it was almost like a stiletto in sense, so he plunged it right into the vein. Seemed like a practice motion, in my opinion.
Did the man have any, did the cargo manifesto that he gave you,
What of it?
and all the other documents, I assume you handed them over to the governor?
Yes, sir. Everything on it, as far as I can tell, is accurate, except for the spices. Regarding weights and his port of destination, we did determine that he did come from Ravinium. We spoke to the crew that was with him, and he was gonna stop here in Flamium. As far as I can tell, the only thing in any of those documents that was illegitimate, even his name was accurate, the only thing that was illegitimate was the spices and then, of course, the amulet.
Where was he going to go next after Flamium?
Nowhere, sir. As far as we can tell, this was his final stop. Though again, because the way he traveled, city to city to city, hiring a new crew each time and getting new documents, perhaps he was going to continue.
That's possible, yes. Thank you, I think that will be...
Of course,
that
sir.
will be all.
Do we need to
Well,
wait
once
for,
I'm done. Yeah.
All right. And the two of them will remain at attention. And now that you've stopped talking about the guy murdering himself in front of him, Marcus will chill out quite a bit.
Out
And
of character, does common motions help with that kind of stuff?
yeah,
Yes. Okay. Also, however, non-consensually casting magic on people is usually
yeah, you're judges. Who
Yeah,
cares?
but Granny doesn't have a social
Also based.
use.
Wait, what are you casting on him?
Calm emotion.
Common motion.
Oh my god.
It only works for a
take
minute
chill
though.
pill.
Unfortunately,
Oh, okay.
yeah, only a
That's
minute.
so funny.
Granny, not Granny. Renesmee, you finished casting Detect Magic.
Cool. I just kind of walk up to them and I like pretend to be investigating, you know, I looking at the ship and like looking at the sea and the ground, and then I look up at specifically Marcus and Lucas.
Yeah, they're not magical.
Nothing, no magical or whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, like tracer.
Very nice, very
We
nice.
expected.
Well, then, when I can, I'll go up to Granny and I'll kind of whisper in her ear and I'll be like, they've got not a trace on them. I don't think they're cursed.
I'm curious what Renesmee sees when he looks at Granny with the magical.
True. What do I say?
I think we determined that we don't see the invisible
Oh no,
little
she's
guy
gonna
on
see
your
the fluttering
shoulder.
one, isn't she?
No, because Zednius did a look and Harkin said I don't see anything, so I don't think that it shows
Well,
up.
no,
Unless
that was for a
Harkin
different
lies.
reason. That's because it wasn't Fluttering wasn't sitting on her shoulder at that moment. Oh, actually, no. Fluttering one's smart enough that the second someone's eyes started glowing, he would go into the. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Grania is just Grania.
She's not glowing in any way.
I don't think she has any magical items, so no. Unless she does.
Wait,
Is
isn't
it
that-
a lot though.
Casters
She does have
glow.
any magic guidance.
She is a spellcaster, but not all spellcasters inherently have magic glowing on them.
Ah.
Like
but
sorcerers.
Oh
don't.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Wizards.
I imagine
Yeah, they
wizards
don't have
don't
it.
either.
Nope.
The
I
branch
don't
of
think
Sloth is the only
warlocks
thing
would
that's
like.
Nor
I
will
think only
warlocks,
like paladins would have like the aura.
Oh yeah.
And
But yeah,
sorcerers,
paladins,
right?
clerics,
Clerics,
even just
paladins.
faithful people that aren't like a fighter can have a holy aura of them if they're like giga pious and serve their god.
What about sorcerers? Sorcerers have like innate magic, right?
Yeah, it doesn't come through in that method, not through detect
Okay.
magic. So yeah, Granny is just a girl.
Cool, yeah. I'll
a
like
goyle.
look around the environment a bit to see if there's anything like
Within
in
30 feet of you,
mag-
there's nothing magical.
cool.
Except for our
Yeah.
shit.
All your magical items, yeah.
I'll assign to her look at body.
And I'll sign to her your body.
What?
No, she'll like shake. her
No, not
head.
a weird
Dead
Obviously
body.
No, no, I know,
box,
I know.
so-
I know.
Oh my
She'll sign
God.
dead body.
No one was thinking it was in a weird way.
No, someone said, huh?
Oh yeah, well.
Because it was just like confusing, because it's obviously not the context she was going for.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that maybe she was trying to show me something like, oh, like,
Oh,
look at
sure,
my
sure,
dress,
sure.
it's glowing.
I
You
okay,
fucking
okay.
weirdo.
Nah, you're
I was
projecting.
thinking, I already looked at the two dudes. I already looked at their
Okay.
bodies.
All right, so
Sign back
Yes.
dead body.
dead body.
Yeah.
That's what I assumed she meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
Granny Oblicious dead body.
You guys, the two guards will be able to point you to where the body is stored. It's stored in the I'm gonna say local, but there are multiple churches in the town. But the local church, it's inside the crypt there, where bodies would be embalmed for typical interment. So you guys can go over there. You don't need an escort or anything. And as you approach the temple. As we approach the temple, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. We will be back.
Thank you.
We will be back in a moment.
Good, I can.
welcome back to Pax Mithdosica. We took our little break, and we were right outside of the church located in the city of Flamio. We are here because the body of the individual is located here, and the two guards are no longer with you. You head inside. There is a priestess, specifically a nun, who presides over this church. She will, without much incident, just guide you down to the crypts. Upon a stone slab rests a body. It has been pumped full of embalming fluid, so it's not actively rotting on the slab, though it is starting to get that sort of like gross waxy skin texture as the internal embalming fluids begin to leak out onto the skin. She has to like wipe down his face with a rag as there's little bits of like chemically looking shit along that. Additionally, some internal organs rest in nearby jars to better preserve the body, because in a really nice city for a really important individual, you could cast gentle repose and things like that, but for a body in this state, it is not feasible. The wound that killed him is very obvious. His skin is like a dark ashen tone because he is bloodless and essentially is drained by this cut. And he is cold to the touch with blue lips, and his eyes are open, sort of staring upward. He has green eyes, brown hair, looks to be in his early 20s or like mid 20s. And the wound on his neck is very small. It's like a perfectly placed puncture hole right into the femoral artery.
None of us can speak with the dead, can we?
No.
Nope.
No.
Even if we could, we couldn't get him to tell the truth, so.
Gonna start
How
identifying
long
the
would it
body.
take me to reach through, like, the church context to get a cleric? Surely I've got a little bit of...
Well, you guys are
reputation
very
leverage.
liked by the Department of Faith. You have quite a bit of clout. The only limitation will be travel time, so it'll probably take about a week.
Well, that fits with Maximus's thing already, so we can...
True.
Yeah, we can submit the request, I suppose. Will the body be stable?
It could be a literal skeleton, and they could still do speak with that. So yeah.
As long as you have the head, right? That's what you...
Mm-hmm.
Is that elven thing you spoke
that
about?
sounds
Like,
really
Yeah.
evil.
thousands of years old.
I can
or-
gently repose the body. It's no problem.
Yeah, but
could
like,
do that
it was
as well,
weird.
I guess.
Who knows how actually, like, much decomposition the body went through.
Oh.
Yeah, I can gently repose it. It's no issue.
I mean,
Yeah.
Also that.
they've embalmed it. Like it can last in a usable state, embalmed.
Yeah, it won't be a problem, is essentially the answer. There should be no problem keeping the body around. Severus can gentle repose it, which will last it for
Yeah, I
10
will.
days, totally untouched in its current waxy state. Yeah.
Before I gently repose it, I'm gonna cast Identify on the body to see if there's any magical effects currently affecting it.
No.
Oh,
Right.
But you cast gentle repose on it. I think there are some
I subtract-
details you can
was it
glean
2
from the
copper, I
body.
think?
What? Gentle
I
repose
just
doesn't have a
found
cost,
one
does
copper
it?
piece placed on each of the corpse's eye, so that's 2 copper.
Oh, I had no idea.
It doesn't have a cost associated with it because it doesn't say like in brackets GP, but it's actually 2 copper.
Wow.
it's
Okay.
actually
Anyways,
cheaper.
yeah. So I think each of you, due to your backgrounds and specialities, sort of glean unique things from this body. Grania, instantly you can recognize this person has not spent much time in the wilderness in their life. At least not in the way that you did. They don't have their feet. They're naked, by the way, on the slab, to be clear. But yeah, their feet don't show any sign of like calluses or wornness. Clearly, they wore socks and shoes for much of their life, which isn't odd for these people outside the woods. But for you, I think it'd be noticeable. Severus, you would certainly note that he is a very lithe build. In fact, he kind of does look like most smugglers that you've met. He's pretty nondescript. He could pass off as almost any member of society with a slight amount of makeup. And a very small part of you even wonders if he's Frumentari, because there's this nondescriptness to him that would perfectly match in that organization. And smuggling is a part of the jobs that the Frumentari does for their other tasks.
Might make sense why he'd kill himself, but then Speak with Dead still negates that. So.
Correct.
Well, again, he can refuse to speak after a Speak with Dead if he wants, right?
Yeah, well, technically he can't. Technically he has to say something, but he can tell you to fuck yourself. So, Father Rixion, I
If he is
think,
Frumentari, that'd make a little bit more sense then.
yeah. Though,
But then Severus might be able to get something.
also
out of it.
killing yourself as a Frumentari would be kind of wild, because you can always just let them arrest you, and then someone could come to break you out. There's no reason to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unless he pissed
So
off
it's more
Tullius.
likely.
Yeah, if he's
like
a rogue Frumentari, that's a whole
Yeah.
different story. Then you would want to kill yourself, because Tullius and other members of the Frumentari will do horrific things to you. So, yeah, it
Worse
probably
than
would be
death.
better to kill yourself there. But yeah, Father Ixion, I think that you notice that you and Maximus both notice similar things just because you have that background of soldiering. This guy, his hands have calluses. You know, he may have been born into nobility. Viria is a very venerable ancient clan, but he clearly didn't like bask in, you know, reading books and stuff. He's been working on a ship. You know, he has deep calluses on his fingers with that dagger placement. Pretty well placed to himself, right in the correct artery to kill himself. So yeah, and then I think Renesmee, the thing that you notice is he has, well, I guess this is kind of in the same vein as what Severus noticed, but he has this muscularity that indicates that, you know, he has like a lithe build. Like, to step out of the mechanics, he would have had like very high dexterity or something similar to that. So he's not just some like random noble fop who found himself in a boat and then killed himself.
Benny's just gonna start looking over the body for any tattoos.
Tattoos. Oh, yeah. Interesting. So there are scars. The main scars would be present on his. Let me think about this. It would be his right arm. Which Renesmee, you would actually recognize. These are dueling scars because most duels are to first blood, and most people who get those scars view them as like testaments of honor, like a dueling scar, something to be earned, something to be proud of, and they mostly hit people in the. Sure, but you still fought, and that's the honorable thing.
Okay.
And so his right arm, which is likely his dueling arm, is covered in a number of these very shallow scars, indicating, you know, duelist scars. Also, importantly, he's likely from the city of Ravinium, because in that city, dueling is a very cultural, like, normal thing. In most other cities, it's either frowned upon or outright illegal. As for other markings, other than, you know, scars, there are no tattoos present on the body.
Like weird birthmarks or anything like that.
Nothing super unique, no.
Okay. Rainy is dissatisfied. She'll be sitting in the corner,
Sad.
poking around her.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm not sure that we can. We just gonna have to wait for the Department of Faith just to get here.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we have no specific path forward other than waiting. That's perfectly fine. We can spend a week here in Flamium.
And then we get 400 XP before waiting week, right?
No.
Wait, I'd like to actually, just in case, cast Detect Magic and see if he has any like items implanted under his skin.
Holy Jeebus. Yeah, you can cast that, and no, there's not, but that's a good idea in the future. Yeah, is there anything else we want to do during, I don't want to skip forward too much, but is there anything else we want to do in the next week?
Does he have any other tasks that need doing besides this?
No, this was the big thing.
And then
I
the secondary
guess-
thing, we probably want whoever's coming to also see if they can purchase some scrolls on our behalf, and then we can pay him when he gets here.
Sure, what do you want them to buy?
Out of character, it'll be probably like 2 scrolls of Speak with Dead, 2 Sons of Truth, so probably would be fine for their sword.
Zone of Truth.
Okay, then
So
probably
just
Speak with Dead.
2 scrolls. Okay, let me check what level that is. It's 3rd. It is
Okay.
3rd. Spell scrolls rarity. That would place it in the bucket of uncommon, and then Ethan, roll me
Don't
a
forget our renown
1d5.
discount. Surely we get a renown discount.
One.
No, the discount is you.
1d5.
The renown thing is you being able to purchase them at all. You're getting this shit on layaway, man. Yeah, it'll cost you 800 gold for these 2 scrolls, so speak with that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you should go write scrolls, man. Make the big bucks.
Can we comp that to the
Yeah.
job?
No,
What the
it's not
fuck?
required for the
We don't
job.
have the money for it.
Okay,
Do
we get
have
a tax
money
write-off.
for anything?
We get a tax
If not, then which one do it?
You guys don't even pay fucking taxes.
Good point. We
We
don't.
put all our money.
What
away.
was the money?
Is that what I'm saying?
gold if you want 2 scrolls to speak with that.
Can we
Why
get
do we
a
need-
cleric
why do-
here?
Yeah, that's coming here for
Isn't-
free.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
That's what we're waiting
Yeah.
on. Why do we need the scrolls?
I'm not sure.
Because
think
we're
we need it for
literally
the
going
next
across
round.
every single town across this area, and I guarantee we're gonna run into the ship or would rather have Speak with Dead than not.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's a very.
I mean, can we afford it,
This
or
is-
is it not worth
No,
Not really.
we can't afford it.
it? Okay.
Not even 1 scroll of 400 gold.
I'm not sure it's worth it. That's
Yeah.
so much money.
I could afford 2. I'm
Like-
sort of in the Renesmee boat of
A
why.
lot of money. Yeah.
I mean, it's not just for
good
this
to
use,
have
it'll be
it,
for
but
all
it's
future.
so
as well.
expensive.
I
How
know
much first level scroll?
we have enough clout to just call a cleric wherever we are.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
then
very
we're not
cheap,
always
Echo.
wanting to wait a week, like in this situation, or longer, depending on where we are. That's what I'm saying. I say it's a
You're
bet, but if we don't think it's worth it, then we just won't do it. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
Well
saying
then,
this one's worth it.
yeah,
On this day,
sure.
How much is the scroll of bless?
Scroll of blast.
First level spell.
Yeah, it is a first level spell. Check the,
Damn, we could have got that for 200 gold if I had rolled well.
it could have gotten it for, yeah, it was a very small amount. Okay, a scroll of bless will cost. Okay,
That
so I
would
see
be
what it
done.
would normally cost. Now it is going to be slightly inflated due to the war. So roll me a. This would be.
If we're waiting a week, I can just prepare bless.
Oh, based. Heck, I'll roll a d5 plus 5 times. I'm just gonna roll this. This is about to be a really complicated roll. It's d5 plus 5 times 1.2. 11. Yeah, it's gonna cost 110 gold for a scroll of bless.
It's not that bad.
Okay, never mind. I was like 50 gold or below, I would have bought one.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
would like to, like, on this same day, once
Yeah.
we're done, before we time skip, I'm gonna go out by, like, a tree near the estate of that duder.
What
And
estate?
I am just going to continuously ritual cast Commune with Nature for, like, all of the knowledges of this area.
What do you mean?
I want to know, because it's a ritual
Reflex
cast.
of your choice. You have to know what you're looking for.
Also, it doesn't work in cities because those aren't natural.
The spell doesn't function when
Oh,
nature has been
yeah,
replaced by
no.
construction, such as the dungeons and towns.
Yeah, but
So-
there's still some natural stuff.
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course. So what are you looking for?
First, I'm going to try and sense any kind of powerful celestials, fae, elementals, undead. None of that?
Nope. Not within 3 miles of you.
Alright. Okay. Could I determine... the terrain and bodies of water? They all seem... I locate them in my mind. How does Commune with Nature look? What does it do?
You press your hand against a tree, and the way that I've always thought of it is that nature, as you experience with the Deadwood, it does have spirits. They're not like gods in the sense that they're actually truly sentient. That would be pretty fucking scary. The Deadwood spirit is sentient. That's why it is so fucking scary. But 99% of nature is not. Even the Great Feywood isn't sentient. So instead, you're sort of tapping into the soul of nature, of which all living things, including people, are connected to, and you're sort of teasing out individual bits of information from the raw data received. So a tree has a root network. It knows where it is. It has no eyes, but it can sort of sense the world around it via its roots. In that same way, you reach out towards all the individual pieces of nature, the crows, the birds, the trees, the plants, and you figure out something within 3 miles of your location. Like celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, undead, these leave auras. They leave a rot or, blessings upon the land, and that's how you know where they are. So you can sort of gain knowledge via that.
Can I look for like the stain of just like undead energy
Yeah, nothing like
and
that.
cursed energy?
That is would not be detectable by nature.
Got it. Can I
Some
like
cursed
go-
energy
I wanna
would,
be
like cursed
doing
objects
this.
would.
I want to like be doing this for like kind of over and over and over again, trying to sense if there's any of the negative energies that could be here.
Yeah, I mean,
Within 3 miles.
over the next couple days, the city isn't big. Literally, one casting of this will instantly tell you. But you can, over the next couple days, you can do it at different parts in the town. There is no celestial, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead within the city, nor within 3 miles of the outbounds of the city.
No Fae, you said?
No fae.
So that means that Fiery's
The
little
fluttering
guy
one?
has been gone
That
the
would-
whole time?
It says influence, which would mean like a powerful one leaving an aura around it, not a tiny little thing.
Also, if we're
Uh,
treating
also
him technically as
on
a
it?
familiar, then he's in a pocket dimension, right?
Also that, but also even if it wasn't a Puck Dimension, it would still wouldn't be detected. It's not a powerful Fae, nor does it leave
it's like
imprint on the land.
following subjects as they relate to the area. So
Yeah.
as long as the Fae aren't like relating to the area at all,
like there could be an Archfey walking around the city vibing, living their life, but like they wouldn't be detectable. But like a Yakshosh that summoned a great field of like cast plant growth or something, that would be instantly recognizable. So
this would be useful to have at that last place that we went to, trying to figure out what was wrong with the
yeah, almost anywhere you go in the wilderness, it'll be very useful to have, especially in like the Deadwood or something. That'd be pogged out. So yeah, you guys can vibe for the next week. Yeah, the Deadwood's spooky. Yeah, Max.
I don't know if
level
I
up.
want to cast this in the fucking Deadwood, honestly. I feel like that experience would be intense.
Yeah, it would be. Because you'd actually be interacting with the sentient spirit of the Deadwood rather than just the vague spirit of nature.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
God.
remember when I gained my druidic powers, I went up to the old forest god and I put my hand up, and it was so small in comparison to him, and then you described this blip as I looked through his eyes, and it was like he was looking simultaneously at the skies, the trees, the mountains, the rivers,
all at once.
He was looking at the animals, and then he strained, and he could kind of sense my presence there, kind of. And this is a small version of what that sounded like.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you sort of try to focus and tap into those sorts of things.
How does that not drive you to insanity?
Well, because it was just for half a second. And for this spell, it's very limited. It's just 3 pieces of knowledge. But yeah, if a human tried to live as the spirit of the dead, would they probably go fucking insane?
That'd be too much.
Okay, cool. Maximus level up. Anyone else that wants to, has the XP to do so, you can level up. Technically, you did resolve 1 mission during this little thing. Technically, because you just walked away.
400 XP.
So you get 200 XP.
200?
Yeah.
That's over.
That's actually
Brain,
crazy
yeah.
that he did that to you.
No, what would be
wild.
crazy is if I said 399. That would be crazy.
You just didn't say that because it was too. We would get suspicious, but
There's nothing to get suspicious on. You just walked away from the mission. You didn't resolve it. And that's fine, but you don't get a ton of XP for doing that. Okay, cool. You spend a week in Flamium, vibing. Father Rixion, you get several communications informing you, yes, the cleric is coming. They're coming from the city of Parla, so it's going to take a little bit of time. They're da-da-da-da-da. But on the 3rd... Oh, also the governor will be more than happy to pay for your lodgings in the city until then, since you're helping him in this investigation.
Oh, Alex, I had one question.
Yes.
Sorry. For Cavalier, are we using the Unearthed Arcana Cavalier, or is it that, or the Xanthar's Cavalier?
Xanthars.
All right, let me.
The one that's less broken.
Yeah. Unearthed Arcana isn't always broken. Sometimes it's really weak, but it is always unbalanced. Whether
I'm
it's really
pretty
dog
sure-
shit or it's good.
I'm 95% sure I did the right one. So let me
You'll figure it out.
check that real quick.
Anyways, on the
Remember when
3rd...
they buffed Twilight Cleric?
Let's not talk about Twilight Cleric. On the 3rd... No. Yeah, it was the 3rd. On the 3rd, Father Rixion, you make your way to the chapel because that is where you were to meet with the cleric that they've sent. And you see a woman with glowing golden eyes, sort of shoulder-length blonde hair. She has priestly robes about her. She's relatively young. I mean, compared to you, she's 30, but for you, she's a young.
How do you
person.
address women of the faith? Is it sister or is it
Mother. If she's an actual priestess, it would be mother. Technically, you could have glowing eyes and just be like a judge or something, but she doesn't look like one.
All right, and I don't recognize her specifically.
No. There's no reason for you to.
I'll walk forward and say, "Hello, Father Rixion. I called for you."
Yes.
I'm sorry, Harkon.
Yeah.
Are you reusing this token, or
No.
is this the lady?
It's the same person. It's just Father Rixion meeting her at the moment, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she'll give a sort of subtle bow and say, "Yes, Father Rixion, your reputation precedes you. I was told that you need assistance in an investigation."
Yes, and what should I call you by?
Mother Dulcian.
Mother Dulcia. All right.
He helped us kill
Pleasure to be
Necromancer.
acquainted.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, and then Peach stayed to make sure she didn't die.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Which she
Alex
was
did for
absolutely
life, which
going
was
to.
awesome.
Yeah, I remember playing as her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I'll lead her to the dead body or
Yeah,
the group.
you head
with
down
the
into
dead
the
body.
crypts with
I don't
her,
know where
and
everybody is.
I just realized. Oh god, Crips like the gang, and then Crips as in like the place where you bury people is pronounced the same. That's very funny. Anyways, you can recover the rest of the judges, so you like go off and grab them while she heads down to the Crips. And it's just making me laugh so hard. I don't know, it's so stupid. So the rest of you guys, though, you follow Father Rixion with his single glowing golden eye, and head down into the crypts. And there, standing over the stone slab, you see a familiar face. For everyone but Granny, of course. And Mother Dulcian is there looking at the body.
It's Mother Dulcian, came from Parla.
Mother Dulcian.
She will glance back over her shoulder, and when she sees you and Esme, she'll give a smile and say, "Oh, I was not aware that it was you, batch of judges."
It is so pleasant to see you again.
Likewise.
But we're trying to speak with this one here.
Yes, I know, that's why I was sent for. Luckily, it shouldn't be too difficult. Do you have the questions you'd like to ask him?
Yeah,
I would prepare for him to lie from what I know of the details.
We should get those together.
All right. And she will just go over to one of the sort of...
is it 3 questions, or is it as many
5.
questions within 5 minutes?
5, right?
It's 5 questions within 10 minutes, I think. Let's pull it up.
And then it's once a week.
The spell failed, yeah. Well, it's 10 days, but yeah. Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse 5 questions. So yeah, in 10 minutes, you can ask 5 questions. It will only know the languages it knew in life. Its answers will usually be brief, cryptic, or repetitive. It is under no compulsion to answer truthfully if you're hostile to it or it recognizes you as an enemy. Yeah.
Oh.
And nobody recognizes this guy.
No, everyone recognizes him. You know his name.
But, oh, okay. So what was he before?
He was a senator.
The senator.
Oh.
Porcius Primus. No, it's Primus. Fuck. Porcius Primius Marsusius Virio.
It would be the best person to ask the questions then.
I don't know.
Mother Dulcian, isn't it?
No,
yeah,
it could
she would be
anyone.
asking. Oh, really?
She just animates the corpse.
Well, I'd like to ask one from Atari in that case.
Okay, what do you
So you'll
want to
ask the
Everybody is
question
fine.
in Frumentari?
Yes, see if he can respond.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do the corpses only count questions that they understand as questions?
Yeah. They'd have to speak the language to recognize it as a question.
Okay, so if he did try and like speak for Mentari, and he was just like, I don't even know what the fuck you just said, it wouldn't really count.
Oh,
But-
that's base.
Oh, so it's a free question. We just start off with
not. But then it could be.
It's a
if
free
a win-win.
Frumentari or not. I mean, almost, right?
Yeah, I
Can you
guess
tell
everyone else would be confused as fuck if you only answered 4.
Can we tell for sure if he understands the question?
Well, Andy, go away after the...
Yeah, and obviously we all need to be very careful in our speech.
Didn't that happen in the
That's
D&D
literally
movie?
like a D&D
It
movie.
did,
scene.
yes.
That exact thing.
It is.
Yeah, okay, let's come up with a list of questions then, or at least a list of potential questions, and we can narrow it down to what we for sure want to ask. Who do you work for?
We start with his Frumentari, I think, since it might be a freebie.
Well, what would you even ask him for Mentari?
He would ask any of our questions.
Got it.
Like,
So let's just figure out the
but if he
questions
doesn't know,
first.
then we just ask it in common. Yeah.
Yeah, who do you work for? What, like, was the amulet for? Anything else?
You could also specify who was it being delivered to.
Being delivered to?
We could ask him why he killed himself.
one.
I feel like that's somewhat obvious.
And the fifth one will be reserved for the fermentary question, whether or not it works.
Well, we should come up with more than these questions. I mean, these are like just ideas that I'm jotting down.
Well, we only
Like-
have 5, that's what I'm saying.
I know,
I
but you
think
can
all
like
those sound-
write. You think that these sound like the final copy?
I mean, they're all the
one
things
round
we
of
wanna know,
questioning
yeah.
every 10 days.
You can. Sorry, Hargon.
You get one round of questioning every 10 days.
Yeah.
This is
which
kind of like our one go. I think.
Basically.
Wait,
or
how-
if you get someone else that can cast speak with that, that's a different thing. But
Is that how Aeolian did that? Like questioned that guy over and over and over?
I'm pretty sure
One
he
time?
was using scrolls, maybe, or I forgot to read the spell. I don't know, something like that.
Or the scrolls cast by the same
Classic
person
Hogwarts.
not count.
Scrolls written by different authors but cast by the same person. Yeah, those don't count.
Holy shit. That's like an insane hack.
Wait, what if they're written by the same person but cast by a bunch of different people?
Yeah, that would also work.
Huh. How interesting.
Incredibly lenient.
I just don't think you can abuse speak with that. It's not that strong of a spell.
Yeah.
Just waiting to make an elf head on my council of elders.
Yeah, what if he lies to you and tries
Yes.
to get you killed?
The council has decided your fate.
Okay, how about this question? Can you provide us with the details, or rather, we will say, please provide us with the details surrounding the discovery of the amulet. What?
Sorry,
He's just
no,
chuckling.
I wasn't.
The
was
more
gonna say.
complicated and long the question, the likelier the chances of him just giving us very cryptic non-answer.
Do you think
It's
so?
true.
I'm worried
Yeah.
that if the
Yeah, it does
if
say
the question
that
is too
usually answer
pointed.
cryptically.
There's the fine balance we have to find, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Too general, and he's gonna give us something cryptic. I mean, what's the downside with like very specific questions?
He might just
Oh.
realize we're hostile to him and tell us to
He
fuck
probably is going to realize that instantly if he killed himself.
off. Yeah,
Like, if he's
I
trying to
feel like
avoid,
that's
like,
it.
other... Like, if you think he's, like, a rogue from Intari or something, he's probably just going to instantly assume that your interrogator's trying to pry answer from his corpse.
Also, just to be clear, just because we can't ask him more than 5 questions doesn't mean that we can't peepo talk at him some kind of story for 5 minutes first.
You can do that, but I'm going to double-check something. I'm, like, 99% sure he literally cannot comprehend things that took place after his death, nor can he
Yes.
have any sort of retention of information. Yeah, the corpse can't learn new information, so you can peepo talk at him all you want, but it's not going to, like, stick in his head.
So if I say, like, I'm your wife.
Well, no, that would be... No, that's different, because he would know who his wife is in the past before he died. What you couldn't say is, like, we caught all your accomplices, and, we know the entire, like, I don't know, just makes up some shit. Like, make up some huge, like, thing. Like, oh, it's over, you're the last little thing we need. Like, I just don't think he would be able to grasp the immensity of that situation. But you could claim you're his wife, sure. He'd probably know the face of his own wife, but maybe not. Maybe he's a bad husband.
No, I'm just trying to know.
Assuming he has
That's
one.
just an example.
I know,
Like,
I'm memeing now. He knows what he knew in life. We'll put it that way.
God,
What
no.
are our questions, Peach?
Right now, it's like, who do you work for?
Based.
What was the amulet for, or like about / what did it do / can you provide us with details about
2 things I
the
want to specify on
amulet?
these. Specify
And-
who was he smuggling for on the first one, and then on the second one, specify what was the amulet being smuggled for.
Yeah,
those will help.
who
Otherwise,
was
you can
it
give some
being
dumbass answer like, "Oh, I work for the government. I'm a senator," or "Oh, the amulet's for being worn." Duh.
Based. True, actually. Actually, that's so true. That is what it's for.
Here, I'm gonna put this in general. These are like the 4 questions. I mean, we have 5 questions, and we can
Well,
ask one of the 5 questions in Fermentari. If he understands,
And-
he'll respond. If not, we'll ask in common. So we need 5. We only have 4.
I agree.
Shouldn't we reserve that last slot for like follow-up questions if we have them?
Yeah, probably.
But then I'm pretty sure that if we even ask questions around each other, like, oh, should we ask a follow-up question? He can just say no, dies again.
That
Sure, let's just let's
Is there
just
any
go.
language that
To
we
be fair,
speak
he
that
can do that for
just
all of
doesn't
them.
think?
Do that?
He can also just do that for all your questions. You can just say no, 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 dead.
That's true.
If he wants to be
intended
unhelpful,
is-
he can be
He was
unhelpful.
working with anyone.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, that's good.
If you're going to try to do the Frumentarii angle, you should keep in mind that just because you're another member of the Frumentarii doesn't mean he's going to, like, peepo talk all of the details of his operation to you.
But it might give us a small hint at what's
No, it
happening.
could. I'm just saying, like, you know, you and Zednius have a kinship, but if you encounter a random Frumentarii agent in the field, you should fully expect them to tell you to fuck off. You have no reason to, like, know the details of their operation. Maybe he was supposed to die. Maybe you're actively fucking up a massive Frumentarii thing. Who knows?
Supremely based.
They've been known to do stranger things. They did an inverse Romeo and Juliet once where a guy killed himself, and then they brought him back in the crypt as a way of infiltrating the keep.
Dude, how'd they manage that?
Well-placed strategy and positioning. I don't know.
Feign death spell also works.
Yeah, also that.
There's like two
That's why I said it
uses
was an
of that.
inverse Romeo and Juliet, because in that one they like fake killed themselves, but then they actually killed themselves. This one is the opposite. They literally did die, and then they came back. Anyways, are we good? For questions? Are we good to start?
I think so. Yeah.
We're in Discord figuring it out right now.
Okay. You can just talk it through. There's no reason to.
True.
Do you have like an amended list?
What?
Yeah,
I thought
put
that
it in
Dod-
chat.
The Dota one.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Unless you guys have
Burrito,
anything you want to add to
burrito.
that. Those are all specified, so they don't fuck up the question as easily.
Okay.
Got it.
Well, Mother Dulcian will place a candle on the chest of the man. She will take the 2 coins off his eyes. She will burn a stick of incense, whisper a prayer to Aurelian soul, and then she will cast Speak with Dead. The shadows in the room grow dark. The candle flickers but does not go out. Mother Dulcian makes a final prayer to Aurelian soul, speaks the final words of the incantation, and the eyes of the corpse open. The top half of the chest rises, the candle sort of tumbles down into his lap. His eyes look haunted, and a sort of spectral shriek exits as his mouth hangs open.
Yeah, I'm gonna step out.
Okay, sounds
Yeah,
good.
no. Fuck that.
So, what are the questions?
I'm waiting for Severus.
Mother Dulcian will look at you. All
I'll say Infirmatari. Who were you smuggling the amulet for?
the corpse looks at you. Mother Dulcian shrugs.
You recognize it as
No, careful, careful.
I caught myself mid-sentence.
Yeah, you did. You didn't finish the question.
I'll just look at her and like raise an eyebrow.
Mother Dulcian will shake her head.
Okay. And then I'll nod towards Renesmee.
Yeah, let's have Renesmee. She's the prettiest face out of all of
I
us.
don't think that's gonna
Stop
change
it.
anything.
That's probably not gonna matter. He's dead.
I'll give him as sweet a smile as I can, and I will say, I am Renesmee, and I am going to ask you a couple of questions. Who were you smuggling the amulet for?
The body sort of lurches a little bit. You see the jaw sort of quiver in its position, and then he says, "Patriots." What's up?
I see.
Can you grab sushi
You've
after that?
answered Patriots.
Oh, okay.
What
I'm
were
writing
you
down the
smuggling
responses.
the amulet for?
Liberation.
I see. Who was the amulet being delivered to?
A patriot.
If we want to not waste another question, we could specify on which patriot.
Yeah, I just want to say specifically. That's not me asking a question, but I'll say that's not specific enough.
No elaboration.
Why did you kill yourself? when the amulet was discovered?
Protect the others.
Before you ask the last question, do we want to get him to out those Patriots specifically? Or do we want to just do the last question of who you're working with? He might also answer a Patriot.
Yeah, I guess that we, in Renesmee's mind, she could be thinking, like, maybe I should just ask, like, where are they? You know?
Up to you.
Do you think that that's more beneficial?
I think that I'm not sure. I think Rixion knows kind of where he wants to go with this, though.
I don't think I'm gonna ask, like, who are you working with, because you're just gonna say the fucking Patriots, so I'll ask... Yeah, I'm just gonna ask, where specifically are they?
You may not realize it, but they are all around you. Those who wish for a better world. And then the corpse shivers, jitters, a horrific, agonized scream lets loose from the vocal cords, and then the body does one final spasm and then goes back to resting.
I'll come back in after that.
Yeah, Mother
Very
Dulcian will
satisfied.
place the
Can't
candle
sound
back
true
on the
for
chest
movie.
and the coins back over the eyes. Mother Dulcian will look at you all. Well, that struck me as unhelpful.
Not exactly.
There's a lead.
Patriots, this
definitely.
is a lead for you?
Oh, those don't.
Yeah, we can now tell that he was definitely working with a terroristic organization that was trying to overthrow part of the empire.
Yes.
Interesting.
We don't know kind of where to resolve this problem, but at least we understand that it
I'm
exists
glad that
and
you
this
found
was-
it helpful.
Yes.
That's bring me up to speed here.
He's working with a secret group called the Patriots.
Called
This
the
is essentially what we
Patriots?
got. Well, they
Described
call
as
themselves
Patriots.
Patriots.
Oh,
Working towards liberation.
No
Very-
hints as to what place.
very generic.
He didn't want to give us
He
any
said there are
information.
many of them. That gives us a lead.
I
It's
will
not
say,
undeniable.
having...
So are there any like spooky like separationist movements?
Separatists?
in the Empire?
Not in the
Sure,
not in the
separatists,
peninsula you guys are in. No.
Revolutionaries.
Well, of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's three separatist movements in the Empire. There's the Tibrasian Plain separatist movements, the Boyars Revolts. Technically, those are separatist movements. Then there on the Protonic Island, there's a small group that is Giga Fundamentalist Hellion Pantheon worshippers, and they want to secede from the Empire. And then the third group is located in the province of Celeria, and they believe they have some like powerful cultural heritage, and that the Mythosians have oppressed them and eradicated their culture. In terms of like revolutionary movements, yeah, there's like, you guys sort of encountered this in Ravinium, like, I don't know, 30 sessions ago or whatever, but there is an undercurrent amongst certain sections of the Empire that the Empire is this corrupted, blighted, evil institution, and that the Republic should be brought back.
How could they possibly think
Yeah,
that?
that seems like
Blasphemy!
It seems like a good bet as to what this is. Is that
Mother
blasphemy?
Dulce, yes. Mother Dulce, well, because the Emperor's God, so undermining his empire is, yeah. Mother Dulce, I'm going to mention, though. I've spoken to corpses many times in the past, and I have the feeling that you're not going to gain any more useful answers from this one. He seems very combative.
Agreed.
Mm.
Thank you for your help with this.
Of course, I'll be in the city for the next couple of days, as I've been assigned here by the Department of Faith. If you need anything else, let me know.
Wait, Mother Dulcian, how have you been?
Good. I was assigned to the plains to assist with the disaster that took place there. Healed a great number of sick and wounded.
Is she talking about, like, the soldiers that got hurt?
Yeah. Well, and killed, but yeah.
Well, thank you for your service as always. I'm glad to see that you're well.
Of course. And I'm
Yes,
glad
you're
that
a
you're
great
well.
servant to the Empire.
She'll nod, and she will return to the upper levels of the church.
Oh, by the way,
So-
just like a side note, for like the past for the past week or so, whenever Zebus had any downtime, he's actually been like that book that Pharaoh Rixian gave us. He's actually like been reading and like
Oh, the
studying
Summa
it.
Theologica. Well, you've been sermoned to by one of the, according to the church, one of the finest writers in human history,
Very nice.
Saint Toma Captiosus.
Yeah,
Are you guys working on the sign language during that? So you can also progress.
Oh,
that?
true.
Oh, yeah.
You could add
I'd
4 out
like
of
to,
whatever progress.
but I'm probably gonna like focus a bit more on this because like Severus is super believing that Zednius coming back is like proof that the Empire really cares for their own, and that like the
Based.
Emperor really is like a divine, great person.
Yeah.
I'll do sign language.
They're
I'm
kind of
getting along with
reinforcing his
Britannia.
faith.
Maximus will join you in sermons and such.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
I
like,
mean,
if you want, we can learn together. You actually have like a lot more experience than me.
Me? Yeah, I'll read some passages.
also,
Oh,
yeah,
not
Father
me.
Ixion too. He's in
Oh,
there.
yeah,
No,
true,
no,
yeah,
fuck it.
actually,
Yeah,
like
he's
the
in there as
Kingers.
well.
Oh.
No,
Maybe you guys as
so,
teacher.
yeah.
Oh my god, I guess I'm gonna be the heretic just learning fucking sign language, huh?
Based. Yeah, I mean, the Summa Theologica is long.
Oops.
It's a lot of parables. It's a lot of like boring religious laws that were written a long time ago when such things were needed to be like composed. The bulk of it, though, is that there is like a cultural, like, technically, Mithdosian Empire is a very recent construct. More generally, there was this group called the Reginan, like, which is the peninsula you guys are on. It's a cultural group, sort of like the Italic peoples prior to Rome existing. And they had a bunch of myths and stories and things like that. And this book, realistically, is 99% just those, like, put in one spot. So, like, St. Lucretia's origin myth, all the stories of Pellinol the Blessed, Elfsbane, slaughtering elves. A lot of, like, it's just mostly, like, folk stories that give a message. And then the last, like, 10% of it is revisions and, updating it with rules and laws in the modern
a bunch
era.
of, like,
What about the elves?
Are there a bunch of fear baiting about the Hounds of Oblivion?
Honestly, no, not really. That's more of like a new
okay.
Varusian Creed type thing. The Captiosan Creed mostly talked about the divine supremacy of humanity over their foes and things like that. And like the rightful, like the place
let's
of
tell
women
the
and men in
half-elf how
society.
superior we are.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the problem with, the Aurelian soul faith is deeply, deeply like a speciesist, I guess. It believes in the supremacy of humanity over all other foes and the objective evilness of all elves. Which is kind of hard to dispute because they were maybe the most evil empire of all time.
Terrible, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have brought that up with Renesmee during that whole Fae incident.
Well, why?
Well,
How does that
Fae and
relate?
elves aren't really the same thing.
No, just that humans are better than everything
Oh,
else.
and everything else.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Fae
you
are
made
not
it
mentioned
clear.
in the book, like, at all. Like, Fae are like a weird side thing.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Just
so
that
that's
humans
sign
are
language
better
do
than
I
all
use?
those.
it does say
Yeah.
humans are better than all, but the examples it gives are like dwarves and elves and things like that.
Are half-elves, you said they were like some kind of a weird eugenics program, right?
Correct, yeah.
Mhm.
So are they like totally a separate species? They can't breed with humans at all?
Correct,
It's
yeah.
kind of like god sculpting. Wait, never mind.
Flesh sculpting, but
Sculpting.
yeah, basically the half-elves, half-elf is like a terrible name. In fact, no half-elf calls themselves a half-elf. They call themselves like a Galadai elf or like a Westbaran elf or an Athnaween. It's just
but
half-elf
use
is like,
elf word.
yeah, half-elf is used by humans because technically these 3 subspecies of half-elf can all like, they're not different species. They're like just races of the same species. So they're all called half-elves by humans. But it's a exonym, not an endonym. It's a name given to them, not a name they give themselves.
Are there mixed half-elves?
Yeah, 100%.
Since there's 3 separate races? Okay.
Mm.
How much sign language do I learn?
4 progress out of whatever.
Ooh. 16 plus 4 is 20, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Thanks, Granny.
So, we got our Speak with Dead.
Nice.
We've gotten some hints of some sort of vague something.
Yeah.
Well,
During your lessons, Granny will repeat some of the things that you've already learned, thinking that you didn't understand it from the couple times you've relayed things that she had.
funny.
That's very funny. Oh,
are you
shit.
sure that you understand me?
That's a good meme.
Is this dock thing? Is there a town here?
What?
This like small dock place. Is it in a town?
Yeah,
Uh,
like the main town of this province,
the
right?
dock, like the dock where the ship is at, is a part of the harbor of Flamium, which is the capital city of this
Yeah.
province.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
I know that sounded like a dumb question.
No, it's not dumb. I was just
I'm
confused. No, it's not dumb. I didn't understand. That's all right. Yeah.
Well, if he's gonna be docking in this city, then perhaps
who?
we search around. The dude that died, he docked in the city.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe
ships here.
maybe the person that he was trying to deliver it to was in this very
Oh. Yeah. 100%. The
Yeah,
question
the
is
city's
who.
kind of large, I assume, though.
It is. I
Seems-
mean, it's like
seems likely.
15,000 people. Yeah.
city. I'm not sure where
I
we
mean,
would
that's-
start, but
Yeah. That
I
I think
mean-
that is the problem. Technically, you got a lead, but it's not a concrete lead that leads you anywhere.
Mhm.
Well,
We could start
do
looking
some
around.
snooping.
Maybe we could set up like an
Like some
operation, like a honeypot type deal, where we set up someone like a fake seller trying to sell the amulet on the black market and see who's really interested.
Mm.
Yeah, but
But
the issue is, I think they know he got caught. So, like,
yeah. But what if we pretended? I mean, they would have to have the governor's cooperation. If we, for a couple days, pretended that it got stolen, and then everyone heard that it had gotten stolen, and then there are rumors of it going on the black market. The people in the Patriot group might think like, was it someone in our group? Like, was it someone outside? Like, we still want it, so what the fuck? You know?
Do you think that the Patriot group will have access to the black market?
Oh, I have no idea. About
Okay.
the
The reason I
black
asked is just because the previous one that you encountered was a bunch of college students, and those are not, the most
Yeah, that's right.
the most underground
Also-
savvy people.
They also weren't like
True.
buying like magical art.
That is actually super true, yeah. Because this, I mean,
that's like a significant.
yeah, if this guy had been captured, he would have been executed, guaranteed. So,
This
If
guy?
you- yeah, this it's not a bad idea. I like the thing about what did you just the thing where you steal it, but then like you let the rumors float for a while, because then you're right, it could just be a thief that managed to somehow steal from the governor, and then they're selling on the black market. Whereas if it appears on the market out of the blue, that'd be kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if the government would agree with that.
I mean, the reason why he would disagree, potentially, is for the few days where the rumor is floating, it would seem like he has incompetent security, and that this town is not safe in his hands. And it does put a risk. Like, it would be great if this happens, everyone thinks he's incompetent, but then we catch the person and it's revealed that actually secretly he was super competent and he caught the person. But if we don't catch the person, even if we say, oh yeah, it was a joke, haha, it wasn't actually stolen, he still kind of looks stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's putting some faith in our ability to close it out.
Kind of gambling on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, we would be.
I mean, you have very little information, so do you have any other leads, or is this basically the one we got?
Well,
Perhaps
I
we
don't
could
think we should
ask
go-
the governor about specific movements that he's aware of in his city.
Yeah, are there any
If he
voluntary
is.
contracts here?
Roll d20. This will be slightly more likely just because it's your home province, but still pretty unlikely. Like a pretty high DC for this to be the case. Nope.
Oof. Most unfortunate.
that sucks.
Ain't no way. Yeah, do we want to propose the plan to the governor, or do we have an alternate idea?
I feel like we should learn more first.
Sure.
Like, gather more intel. If we're going in, like, super blind, I'm not convinced that we're gonna be able to close it out. If we glean more, then maybe. Are there any, like, shady bars? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a harbor town, so there's only, well, it used to have many because it was a harbor town, but now there's only one that's still in business from the occasional
I
fisherman.
will say, it is a smaller town, and you'll need to hide your judge badge. And even then, they may not be very open just because you're new.
Well, you guys have been chilling, like, you have been 5 judges chilling out in this town for about a week now, so.
So everyone will know who we are.
Yeah,
People
you're-
would know, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Servers can disguise though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 hour.
Mhm.
So you could disguise as somebody and try and get a lead, I guess.
Yep.
That's a direction.
Wait. What if you disguised yourself as the dude that died? Put up your cloak and
Everybody
made it
knows
look
he's
like you were.
died.
Everyone knows that they're saying he's died.
Well, yeah, he's been dead for a little bit over a month.
But who's seen the body?
I guess, yeah, true. Only the priest and anyone he told.
I mean,
And those two
Well, it
guys.
might backfire
And the two
where they're
guys,
trying to
and the
avoid
governor.
it, though.
And his clerk.
I guess it could be.
And the crew
Yeah.
of the ship.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Mind wipe all of them.
that sounds. What level spell is Mind Wipe?
I'm fucking 7th or something.
Oh, okay, alright. Sorry, just curious.
Modify memory is 5th, right? But it's only 10 minutes
Modify
of
memory,
time.
yeah. So, we could do the Severus / Renesmee undercover thing. We could just say, fuck it, go straight to the governor. We could give up. That is always an option.
Taste.
I
I think
think
we should gather
we.
intel. I just don't know where.
I
Yeah.
think Severus goes to a bar, tries to talk to a drunk guy about how the Empire's gone to shit, kind of stuff, and then
I mean-
maybe gets an in there, leads him outside. We kidnap the guy, zone of truth him, and get as
Jesus
much info as we
Christ.
can.
Do we have Zone of Truth?
Yeah,
Yes.
Rixian does.
Who has it?
Rixian.
Rixion.
Oh, fucking base.
Supremely so.
Cool.
So that's the plan?
Yep.
Alright. Severus, there's one shady bar in the town, so what's your disguise?
The guy was a human, right?
Yes. So far you've only seen humans in this town. Maybe 1 or 2 half-elves, but it would be Galadrim half-elves, so they basically look like humans.
Unless specified otherwise, assume it's human or compound.
Right, so I'm gonna... Yeah, gonna have to do this magically entirely. I'll be leaving some of my stuff back, so I'm gonna go in like in fairly regular clothing.
Okay.
Have my dagger on me, of course.
Okay.
We
We say yes,
And
your
I'll-
dagger on you?
yes, I have one of my
Oh,
daggers on
okay,
me,
okay, that's notable.
but I'm gonna have it like hidden,
Sure.
like in a boot or something. Either way,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna disguise myself as like a young-ish human, maybe in his mid to late 20s.
Okay.
I should look like he's definitely have worked. Some good calluses on his hands, maybe like a farmer or a harbor worker.
Okay.
But maybe you've seen a bit of hard work in this time.
What are you
And,
doing in the city? We should start to get a cover story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really short hair. Oh, I'm just passing through. I was gonna. Yeah, maybe I should get a better cover story. I don't know.
Well, I
go
mean, you
look
basically
like
know
you're
like
cringe
what the
talking
You
shit
should
about the Empire.
become unemployed or something. Like
you do know the vibe of this
somebody-
town. It's an economically depressed place that once had these 2 booming industries, both of which are functionally dead due to further
Which
imperial
industries are these?
acquisitions. Well, it has a giant ass harbor with 1 ship in it, and that's impounded. So, and no vessels have come in the last week that you've been here, other than fishing boats from nearby fishing towns. So, that entire industry basically dried up in the last, 50 years and is dead now. And it has no walls and no military, so it's like it was once this massive, potent city. Now it's like a way stop, if that. Not even really, though.
Right, so what about this kind of story? I make myself a bit older. I used to be like a dock worker, sometimes hired as like a sailor, but over the recent years it's become way harder and harder to find any jobs. So I've been just like doing a little bit of fishing like on the side to help people, but even that's like, going to shit.
barely pays the bills.
And
stuff
why
like
would
that.
no one in the city recognize you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is how small is the city? Would everyone already know
15,000
each
people,
other
but the
that
harbor
work there?
scene is like a couple dozen at this point. It's so tiny.
What if he was from the Midland? What if he was from the outside, like in the middle of everything? Is farming
What?
still going well? Or
Oh yeah, the
And, like,
farming in Sidalian is going great. Yeah.
okay.
But you probably don't want farming in Sidalian to be going great for your backstory.
You could be
No,
from
I was thinking he'd be
Ravinia.
unemployed or something.
Yeah, Severus, you could basically be from any other city, and then also all these things, and just found yourself here.
Yeah, I could have been like a sailor from another town originally,
True.
but
Yeah.
eventually like ended up here.
A shitty
Can I
storm destroyed your ship, or just bad luck, or something else.
Oh my god, that'd be great because they might be looking for a new sailor, eh?
How about this one? We get spicier. We say I stayed here because I found a wife and I divorced her because she was like insanely into the Empire. I fucking blame the Empire for all of it.
Could be.
I don't know.
The only reason I think, I would just avoid being someone that's from this city because, again, it's a very tight-knit community, so
Yeah.
they would instantly be like, well, that's kind of weird that none of us have ever seen you despite you claiming to work on shipping vessels and us knowing every single fisherman.
True.
They've never seen him or his wife, apparently.
Yeah, this works in Mythos because it's
You
like
go to different
a
school,
million
okay?
people. Yeah, she goes to... Based. She goes to a different fishing town.
What's
Yeah.
B city? Is there another city that's got really down on its luck?
Yeah,
Could be
this
from
is
that city.
The
Tarako
fucking
or
grain city that
Parla.
we were from. But I don't know why they would be over here.
From Tarako as a sailor, and then he heard that maybe things would be better here. He comes here, and it's just.
Oh
as
yeah, it's
bad.
just this shit. Oh, that would be fucking
Oh, that's good,
tragic.
yeah.
Oh god.
That's good. Go with
I
that
think-
one.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I mean, when was the last vessel? When is the last vessel entered this town?
The last proper ship, like cargo ship, was before you guys arrived here about 3.5 weeks ago.
Okay, where was it from?
It was from the city of Ravinium.
All right.
And
What
it
were
was
they
just
doing?
stopping
Coming
by
in from Tarako.
Yeah, when was the last ship from Taroko here?
months ago.
Yeah, that's the problem. If I
You can
been
say
here
you
for
came
Can
on
months,
foot.
Go by horse.
Or on foot. He's not no noble. He can
Poor as
ride on
hell.
horseback.
Well, I feel like it would add to your anger, rightfully, for the Empire. People are like, well, it's going shit in Tarako. Came over here, trying to make it better, thinking that it's gonna be good here. This place used to be bumping on the fucking seas. I get
Yeah.
here, it's just a shit in Tarako. I'm being
yeah,
fucked
and
here.
actually now I'm gonna go like, yeah, this place is also like shit for sailors and stuff. I'm gonna head further down to Ravinium. Maybe
Yeah.
it's better there.
Yeah. And
That
then
sounds
it'll be
good.
like, Ravinium fucking sucks. Don't go there either. And then you can just start,
Yeah.
hate jerking.
That sounds good.
Hate jerking.
Yeah.
That's a funny phrase. Okay, so you put on the disguise. And how old did you say you were?
Like late 20s. Somebody
I
who's
would-
seen
I would
like
do-
a decent amount of work years, but not a long time.
Okay.
I would counsel you to be in your 30s so that you can, the old ones might be like, you're young. You don't even got anything under your
Killed
belt.
himself.
What? You say
How
all
old
the old
was the
people
guy
killed
that
themselves?
How old was that guy? The ship guy that died.
He was in his like mid-20s.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say late 20s sounds good.
Okay. All right. The rest of you guys head out, at a pavilion or a bench or something else within visual sight of the seedy bar, but not,
I turn into a fly.
There you go. And Severus, you saunter. You're a sauntering lad. You walk with a bit of, goofiness to your step as you enter into the bar. It's the middle of the day. It's about 12 a.m. Noon.
What accent is common in Taroko?
In Tarako,
Yeah.
typically, most regional accents are not especially notable, but if you're a sailor, you'd probably have a bit of a slur to your speech.
I'll
But
try.
yeah, the bar is currently fully occupied despite it being noon. Lots of salty sea dogs, as it were, most of whom shoot you almost like annoyed glances, like you're intruding on their thing. Some of them are playing games of cards, other ones are just sitting around a table talking. This is clearly more of like a local neighborhood pub than like a bar for travelers. But the bartender will, a large portly man who probably was once on the ocean himself, will sort of stand behind the bar.
Hello there.
He looks you up and down, says nothing.
Pint of ale, please.
All right. And he will go behind the counter, pour out some swill, sailor's grog. It is fucking disgusting, but hey, it's cheap. And he will slide the tankard over to you and extend his palm and say, 1 copper.
I'll give it to my purse, but because of this mission, I'm pretending to be down on my luck, right? So I have like a small extra purse that has like a very small amount of money in. So it's not like I open it and like fucking 200 gold sitting in the guy says I'm insanely rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm just like pulling up like how many? 2 copper?
1.
Was it? 1 copper. I pull out like 1 copper.
Yeah, when he
Also-
sees that you actually have money, he seems more comfortable and says, "No, just keep it. I'll put it on your tab. Can't be too careful these days."
Yeah. He's gone to shit, huh?
He shrugs. That's just life, I guess.
Yeah. I guess.
And he'll go talk to other customers. I mean, most of the people here are like his friends, so no reason to talk to the stranger unless he wants booze.
Yeah, you said there was some gambling going on? Can I
Well,
get maybe in on that?
they're not exchanging money, but they're just playing cards.
Yeah. It always like sounds.
Yeah, they have
good
these
to
little
loosen up
painted
some
wooden
people.
chips that they're using as their gambling devices rather than actual money. And you can go over. They'll, again, shoot you some annoying glances, but they'll make room for you. You sit there and you realize that. Actually, honestly, if this were anyone but Severus, you probably have no fucking idea what's going on just because of the types of crowds they ran with. But since Severus is like a professional spy, you'd recognize this is a game that's relatively unique among sailors. They're very bad at math. It's not their fault. They just weren't educated in these sorts of things. So some other card game can actually be a bit complicated for them. So instead, this one has to do with like the faces of the cards representing a particular person aboard a ship, and whoever has more members of the upper staff of a ship, like the captain, things like that, that counts as like a victory. So it's a pretty unique card game for sailors, and it's always wooden chips rather than cards because those won't, die on a ship, whereas cards will almost instantly get soaked through with water. And you can start playing, and once they realize you recognize the game, they sort of brighten up a little bit. Mostly what they're talking about is what you'd expect, how the fishing season's coming along, how they're going to pay off their bills to the Department of Coin, their sons on the planes worried about their fate.
Riff.
I'll lay down some stuff about Morocco wasn't going great. Walked all the way down here, stopping by some towns here and there to make a bit of coin, and it's not really getting better anywhere.
Yeah,
Maybe Ravinium will be the big break.
one of the other guys nods and says, "If I didn't have a house here and a lovely wife, I'd be going to Ravinium too. Maybe Mythos. I hear that they actually hire men like us."
I but Mythos still, it can be a bit, a bit fancier,
At this point, I'd take all the pretension in the world just for a reliable paycheck. I don't care if someone looks down their nose as they hand me a coin, as long as they hand me it,
But always feels better to have it handed to you by an actual patriot.
He sort of raises an eyebrow at that, but continues and says, "Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. At this point, I'd just like to get paid anything. I mean, I'm burning through savings. My boy is supposed to go to the symposium, I certainly can't do that anymore."
Fade. It's all going so poorly.
Everyone at the table nods along. You continue to play the game.
Fishing season going then.
Only one of them actually has anything to do with the fishing. The rest of them have the skills, but there's just not jobs for them. And the one who is employed will say that it's pretty shit because Sidalia actually has a relatively small coastline. And typically the way that fishing zones are supposed to work is you measure 100 miles off the shore, but since the Hammers Falls to the west, it's only about 10 miles off the shore. So one, they have a pretty small fishing zone, and secondly, recently, the Emperor wrote several decrees giving Regia more of Sidalia's fishing lanes. So what was once a small area is now an incredibly small area, and Regian fishermen are basically, putting them out of business.
Most unfortunate.
Once
So
again,
not good
Sidalia
to
gets
answer your
shafted.
question.
Wait, what did you say?
So not good to answer your question.
Yeah. Once again, Sidalia gets shafted. Regia prospers, blah blah blah.
One of them nods, but, you know, a younger man, a little bit older than you, will speak up and say, "That's not all bad. You know, none of our boys got conscripted. I hear they're doing that out on the plains in Transpond Parcellaria, Cispond Parcellaria. Not a single one of our boys got drafted. They volunteered." And, you know, a couple of the men will kind of roll their eyes at that, but they won't openly say that it's a bad thing. Clearly they don't. Yeah, clearly they don't view much honor in being in the Legion, but this guy seems proud of his son.
Being in the Legions, well, I hope your boy all the luck he can have. But it's mighty dangerous out there.
He's been sending letters back. Says that, you know, he may even make Optio if he keeps up his current work. I'm sure he'll be just fine. You know, he's in the 1st Legion. It's a real honor. It's because he's so smart. Gets it from his dad.
In the 1st? Wow.
Oh yeah, he scored real good on that test where they check your reading. I never had much of a mind for it, but my wife taught him.
Oh, you got quite the son on you, huh?
Oh yeah, and the other guys roll their eyes like they've heard about this for fucking like 10 million times. He says, "Oh yeah, he's a real smart lad. You know, not only can he read Mythos, he can read Common. He's gonna be the real thing that, you know, makes something of himself."
Maybe one day he'll even make Senator.
Okay, let's not get too excited. And the other ones roll their eyes even more heavily. And one of the older ones, like in his 60s, says, "Can you please shut the fuck up about your son and put some fucking coins on the table? Jesus, we've been playing with these lacquer pieces of wood for weeks. If your son's doing so well, why don't you give us some of his wages?" And the young man sort of like looks side to side and says, "Okay, fine."
How easy is it to cheat on this game? Considering my incredible sleight of hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. It's basically the exact same as a card game. You just have to manage to sneak the lacquered chips into like your wrist or underneath the table, and then you'll just play like the captain, the botswain, and all those at once to just win instantly. So yeah, it's pretty easy to cheat at. But again, there's no money on the table, so.
So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cheat, but I'm gonna intentionally lose.
Okay. Easy enough. I
want to get these people like a bit of a high, so maybe they'll be more happy and a bit more open with their information. You know?
Sure, you can
like
try.
You want someone to like you're like ruling them, and then you allow them to be the underdog that overtakes you, and then you're like, "Oh man, good job."
Actually, that's
like,
even
really
better. Yeah.
me.
Yeah, sure.
Have me slowly build up like a sizable lead, and then lose like a big one.
Yeah, you start building up a little dragon's horde of like wooden chips, and you know, people start getting annoyed. The old guys who are already very grumbly start grumbling more. It's like a fucking, you know, thunderstorm just fucking grumbling. But eventually, you know, you start losing, and it's not even hard to lose. Like, you don't even have to cheat. You just basically lose every hand. So you just keep losing and losing and losing and losing until you are, you know, only have like a couple wooden chips left. The older folks don't seem much more happy, but the younger lads, you know, there's like 2 of them at the table, the like mid-30s, late 30s, and an early 40s guy. They seem a bit more happy with their day.
Well, if nothing else, then at least that.
These don't seem like a group of rabid revolutionaries, do they?
No, they don't at all.
Yeah. Or also, they don't seem the type to work with like a nobleman.
None of my down on my fortune story works if I'm just randomly buying everybody around. I can't
That is
afford
true.
that.
You can if you just stole everyone's money.
Well, it's not actual money; it's just wooden chips.
Yeah,
never
without
mind.
playing with real money.
I thought they were playing with real
No,
money.
they're too broke to play with real money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd play with
it
real money if they
sounds
would.
like, it sounds like the revolutionaries would be at one of those little like artistic ass coffee shops, actually, not like in the rough of
Yeah.
it. These people bear the brunt of a lot of the oppression, but it is always the scholarly people who are like
They're gonna have
kind
another
of more
Artemis raid.
privileged. Yeah. That like have the education to like
Really, go over the poor parts of Beverly Hills.
That's a good meme.
I could have, since we had a long rest, I could have locate object, right?
Sure.
I could locate object the heresy book.
Which one?
The one about the emperor being a tyrant. Would that when
Rise
do we
of the
think
Tyrant King.
do we think that that's good? Do we think the patriots are anti-emperor? From the answers we got.
probably.
Well, didn't
I
Harkon
would
say
think
there's
so.
like a group of secessionists that are like here in
No, they're in
Sidalia?
Solaria. Sorry.
Or Salaria.
They're similar names, but yeah, Solaria's a different place. It's where the professor that you guys were with. It's where he's from.
Oh.
Professor Pushkin.
Is he back
no, he's
in
doing-
there?
Professor Pushkin.
Yeah, he's been back there for like 3 months.
Yeah, but
He's like, I'm never going to that island again.
Correct.
Yeah, he's never gonna get rid of the trauma.
Well, he also has like a lifetime worth of research papers to do on all those books you gave him.
Yeah, that's true.
All about the Zednians.
But yeah, there's no separatist movements in the core Mithdosian provinces because any sort of ideas of separatism were genocided out of the population. Like, any attempt at any secession was met with mass decimation and destruction of cultural identity. No one speaks local languages other than Mythos and Common. There literally is no cultural identity except for Mithdosian. So it's not feasible for separatist movements to exist. But there are Republican movements that want to, overthrow the empire and return to the Republic, as you guys discovered.
Yeah, I honestly suspect that unless there's some like crazy shit going on here that I have no idea about, it seems more likely that this was just another port that we were gonna pass through.
Well, then that would lead the question, that's a really strong amulet in terms of rarity. It's within the very rare bucket. So who the fuck was like, that's pretty crazy to smuggle Tullius could do it, but I don't think you know anyone else capable of smuggling a very rare magical item across the empire. And then getting
Maybe they were even
caught
gonna
on
get
something as stupid as a
on,
routine check.
On foot from here, like with wagons or something.
Okay, could be.
It almost feels like, and I know that it's probably not this, but could you imagine if someone wanted him to get caught and they cast suggestion on the dude? Because he said, I just got this feeling that, he was hiding something, even though there was nothing telling it. And it was actually someone casting suggestion, lol. But probably not.
It could work like
That'd
that,
be-
yeah.
That'd be fucking crazy, though.
He didn't recognize from Atari, so if he's on our side of the empire, he's in some crazy shit that only from Atari know about, which is very unlikely. I assume he was part of some weird terrorist organization that we just don't know much about. The only thing I could ask is, I think I'd like to reach out to Tullius per messenger.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
send
you
a message
extricate
if maybe
yourself
he
from the
knows
bar.
anything about this.
Yeah, you leave the bar. Nobody's
As I
following
leave
you.
the
so-
bar, I'd like to buy everybody around. I feel bad for
Okay,
these
yeah,
people.
you cough up there's not a lot of people in here. You cough up the silver coin. It's basically the
I
last
buy
coin in
them
your
maybe
coin
one of the
purse.
slightly better beer.
Oh shit, you balling out. Okay, it's 3 silver then. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
I'll pay for these.
So much
Yeah.
for your cover story being some bozo.
Yeah, the bartender,
outer world.
will see you
Don't
remove.
object. It was a fail, right?
Yeah, the bartender
Oh, I
will see you eject, 3 silver coins from your very meager coin purse, and he says, "Are you sure about that?"
I'll say, I'm gonna hit it big in Revenium. I know it.
All
These
right.
people-
I'm not gonna say.
They
I'm
need
not
it.
gonna ask you twice. And he takes the 3 silver, and he will disperse another piece of booze across the crowd. This one is a local favorite. It's crab wine. They make it in the colonies. They don't make it like that down here. Up in the colonies, you've heard it's a disgusting beverage. Here, it's just they use seawater instead of normal water in creating the booze, so it has a very fishy flavor.
That sounds awful. Jesus.
They love it though. They love it.
Oh, that actually made me shudder. Jesus.
Did the dead guy have a house in this city?
No.
No.
He owned no property as far as could be held. I don't know. And the governor would have to go to Mythos to get access to the guy's full records, so he just didn't do that. He just knows the name.
Okay.
So yeah, you exit the bar. Separatists join up with the rest of the party outside. What now?
If you're gonna send a message to Tullius, you might mention that the guy's name, and then we need to search anything we can get on him, like his estate and stuff. Depending on how much longer we want to deal with this, I don't know how long it would take for Tullius to get back to us.
Probably a while if he's in
secondary.
the middle of something.
I should look for somewhere busy and do a locate object on that. Which book do I think we should look for? The something of the Tyrant?
Rise of the Tyrant?
Rise? Is that what? Wait, is that the Raven Tyrant or What is the
Rise of the
Okay.
Tyrant is about a general basically pragmatically abusing every single institution of the Republic to make the Empire.
and is that what heretics? It's like an alt history kind of thing.
Yeah, partially. The reason it's heretical is not because it doesn't actually talk about religion at all. The reason it's heretical is because it undermines the divine foundation of Aurelian Dominus Sol. Which,
And it's
yeah.
like the thing that the Republic people like, or
I mean, I guess, sure. You found it on cultists and a Republican dude located in Ravinium. We also found it on the Giga cultist in our in Mythos. I don't think you know what he worshipped other than like vague star stuff.
what other book could I locate object for that we think would be better crew? I know the alternate history of the Empire was another one.
Yep.
I mean,
You mean?
I'm just thinking.
Oh, okay, that's fine. No rush. It's a real
What other
twisted pickle. that's
heresy
been
books
thrown
do
at
we
you.
know about?
Let me go check. So I will pull up first. I will pull up the goofy evil guy, the cultist dude. He had
No.
the Arminus. That was his name. What did he have? This may take a second.
It's okay. We'll BRB and everyone's BRB. And...
True. Okay, so Arminus had. Fuck, I just saw it. Now it's gone. Okay, Arminus had Alternative History of the Empire, Failures of the Light Wars, and The Tyrant's Rise. He had those three. He also had the completed works of Arcanus Valerius Nightweaver and 3 tomes by Kaul the Vile. So those are all, you know, not chill.
Are the tomes reproduced, or are they like
No,
authentic
They're
Call Rule?
authentic originals.
Oh,
I believe you turned
And who
them over
had-
to the. Didn't you turn them over to somebody?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I don't think it's on anyone's shoe, so I'm pretty sure you turned it over. Well, I guess you weren't there, yeah, because you were dead. Because Batman. Yeah, so there's those. And then I believe the ones that you found in Ravinium like 30 sessions ago are pretty similar to those. I know that they had Alternative History of the Empire. I don't think they had the Tyrant's Rise, to be honest. That's like a pretty
I
aggressive
think I
tell.
should search for alternate history of the Empire, and then I should just.
'Cause that
start
one's not
walking
even-
around.
That's not even
City.
heresy. It's just like sussy. Yeah. Okay.
It's a probable cause for me to inspect further, right?
Well, you don't need probable cause. You're a judge of the Empire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supremely based.
Yeah, you cast Locate Object for Alternative History of the Empire, and you start walking around Flamium. It's pretty small, so how long does Locate Object last? You can probably walk the whole city.
10 minutes.
Okay, never mind.
10 minutes, and it's in a 1,000-foot radius.
Is it a ritual casting, or is it an actual spell slot?
It's an actual slot.
Okay, you probably need to burn 2 spell slots to search like the main portions of the city. This means like Main Street, and then like the waterfront.
Okay, I can do that. I'll start in the city first, just in case like we find something
Sure.
there
Yeah.
first.
You walk along Main Street first, remove 1 spell slot, and during your walking, you get a ping. Along the main thoroughfare, you see a. It looks like it was once a bookstore. Like the sign clearly depicts a book, but it's been like scratched over.
I could be on horseback to double my movement speed.
Sure. Yeah. The bookstore, the book has been like scratched out, and it's been sort of like rebranded as an arcane supplies shop. And there is
It
a
used
copy
to be
of,
a bookstore. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
it used to be a bookstore. Now it's an arcane supplies shop, and there is a copy of the Alternative History of the Empire inside that building.
Okay. And then I'll keep going through the city to see if I get a second ping somewhere.
Sure. Yeah, you continue to ride through. As you're riding along the waterfront, there's a series of, it's past the harbor, there's these series of about 12 very nice buildings, like patrician homes, and you get the ping of alternative history of the Empire in 2 of them.
In 2 homes?
Yeah.
All right, I'll mark those 2 homes down, and then we can.
Yeah, and around there, as you finish riding along the waterfront, the locate object ends, and you can return to the rest of the judges down at the pier where the boat was located. Severus is back, looking like his usual self.
Yeah.
So what now?
Well, it's like nighttime, right?
No.
Oh, it's not? Why was he at the bar in the middle of the day? I figured he'd be
Because
at
that's what they were day drinking. Because they're unemployed.
Well, I'll relay that information. The former library, maybe it's a Arcanist place now? I don't know.
Yeah,
A library probably wouldn't be allowed to have that book, would they?
Yeah, it depends. They could get a special writ to have heretical texts. I mean, your place
It's
has it.
also not a library anymore.
Also not a library. That is true.
All right, what does crew think? Just knock on the door and start
Burn
asking
them all.
questions. I also, well, interesting.
Burn them all down. They're blast.
Oh wait, no, I can upcast. I forgot. Oh, based.
What does upcasting locate object do?
It gives me a spell slot.
Classic.
Well, 'cause I have 3rd level spell slots and 4th level spell slots, but no spells because of multi-class.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's funny. That's humorsome. I'm chuckling.
How you know?
Do not chuckle.
Ha 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 ha. So,
Oh, he chuckled.
where to?
Maximus, what do you think? Just knock on one of these doors, take someone in.
I mean, if we're willing to start going through a bunch of ruckus, then we can might as well just dive into the ruckus. No point in being quiet about it anymore. Just we disturb one, we disturb them all. And
Well, we should.
remember last time when we knocked on the door and they had a bunch of time to prepare for our arrival?
We should just open the door and grab them.
I'm not making that mistake again. So,
So you're gonna go
Okay,
kick down the
remember
door
the
of
last
random
time to
people?
the person who
Jesus
wasn't there.
Christ.
if we're doing this, we're doing this.
Can we go to the governor
Everyone's okay with
who
it.
lives in those 2 homes, just to see which one is a better of the 2 to go into, maybe?
Yeah, sure. You can make. Well, you don't need to talk to the governor about this, but yeah, you can go to the city hall,
Okay.
go, speak to the clerk there. She will direct you towards the Department of Civility representative of the Record Department within inside the city hall, and then you will speak to the Department of Civility employee who leads the Records Department of Flamia. And what he can get you is the names of all 3 of the people. So the bookstore, as you identified it, is now an Arcanist supply shop. It's owned by a man named Arcanist Vaterion. He's the only wizard in the city. Then there is those 2 houses, which are both owned by senatorial families of the clan Viria.
Wait.
Okay, can we figure out if any of them have licenses to keep these particular books?
Yes, you can find that the Arcanist has a laundry list of licenses, special exemptions given by both the governor as well as the Department of Magic to possess all matter of both heretical tomes and forbidden magic tomes, like necromancy and things like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we don't give a fuck about that guy anymore. He's allowed to have it.
The noble
what
houses.
about-
Is
Do not
that
have
somebody?
that.
Do we care about Varia? What's that name mean?
The Great Clan Viria?
Isn't that like the Emperor's clan?
No.
No, that's
Great Clan
Varia.
Viria used to be one of the most powerful clans in the entire Republic. They were elected essentially constantly.
So they've got a bone to pick because now they're not powerful anymore. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've met like 3 members of Great Clan Viria. One of them was the senator that snitched on literally everyone in Ravenium. That was one. Then the guy who's dead is a member of Clan Viria. And I believe you met a centurion of Clan Viria as well.
Well, it sounds like
Well,
so. These 2
Is there,
is there anything separating these 2 to know which one would be a better mark to go
Well,
to?
one of them is registered as a household of 8 people. He is seen as like, now the clerk would not editorialize. There we go. The clerk would not say these things, but like you can just read it on the records. Clearly, the first person is the household of 8 members of Clan Furia is highly favored by the governor. It's even said like they've given massive donations to the government. They have been given civil awards of service to the province of Sidalia. By and large, this family seems to be in high standing. The second family, which also is a part of Great Clan Furia, is not so esteemed. It's 3 young men who lost both of their parents. They sort of lead the household. One of them is missing. Another one joined the Legion, so that leaves 1 young man in a big old house all alone. So they don't have much prestige or clout.
One of them is missing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to bust down the door of this family that's really close with the governor?
No,
I'm
that's
sort of leaning towards no.
Just get the guy that's all by himself.
Well, he does have servants, but yeah.
Okay, but like servants aren't company for these guys.
Sure, I'm just saying like all alone. Like he's not going to be in his house alone in the middle of the night. He does have dozens of servants.
He's going to be a lonely guy that could fall into a cult.
Wait, just a random
Because
curious
there are,
question.
lonely people be falling into those.
The Arcanist that has the Arcanist shop, or whatever,
Yeah.
does he happen to be the same Arcanist who identified the amulet?
Yes.
I'd like to identify the amulet once again.
Sure. You guys can make your way to the governor's office. He's already gone home for the day.
It could have been like a double cross me.
Yes.
So you guys will will head inside. The 2 guards that originally found it will accompany you, just because they're pretty sure you're you, but they got to make sure you don't just like take the amulet and leave. So the 2 guards will head into the governor's office with you. The clerk will take her spare set of keys, unlock the vault, and she will take out the amulet, place it on the desk. It's got that single little glowing brooch in the middle.
And I'll identify it.
Yeah. You identify it. It has a minor illusion cast on it that makes the central brooch glow, and beyond that, it's a totally non-magical amulet.
What?
Simple as.
Oh my god, we got him!
So we want the Arcanist then.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. So yeah, we can just go bust down this man's
Wait,
door.
first I'm gonna ask the clerk about the records of who accessed this.
She says,
Well,
well,
to cast this suggestion on guard because that's actually seeming more reasonable now. The fact that
the
you didn't
governor
know how to
has
check
I don't think suggesting can kill yourself.
You can't.
No. I'm talking about the guy who checked the box in the
Yeah,
first
he
place.
wanted to catch him,
Found it.
actually.
the governor has access to the vault, of course. I also have access, and then the only other person would be the captain of the garrison in the city, the Optio.
It's possible that he got like a replica of the watch made it glow, and then just swapped it out.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Somebody
Yeah.
swapped it. Possibly. So first I
So
want to talk with Optio.
we might
and
not
I'm
be
gonna
the
have to-
Arcanist.
We need to summon
Well,
the
the Arcanist lied about what it was anyway.
Why
Right.
would he have killed himself if it was just a harmless amulet?
Yeah, with
I-
minor illusion cast on it.
Yeah, I want her to send somebody actually, no. I want one of my other judges to go get the governor, and I want the clerk to stay here.
What do you want the 2 guards to do in the room? Do you
They
want
can
them to do
choose,
anything?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Who do you
But
want to
make
go
sure the
grab
clerk
the
doesn't
governor?
leave. The clerk's
Okay,
not
sure.
allowed to leave.
Sure.
She has access to this.
Sure.
I'm
Who do
not
you want to
telling her
grab
what
the
this,
governor?
what this is about.
Sure. Who should grab the governor?
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, Grania.
We'll
Yep,
go grab
Granny's
him
on her
since
way.
we're both
Probably
old.
somebody who can speak.
He's the.
Yeah, I'll grab him if you'd like, or yeah,
Go get him.
Father.
He's heard of me before.
Okay, Father Ixion
So
exits
we're
the
both
city
old.
hall. The 2 legionnaires that where the Marcus and Lucas will lock down the city hall alongside you. The clerk will sort of nervously sit down, but you said you're not going to tell her what it's about, so she won't press further.
What am I getting the governor for? By the way, before I get there.
Come
Severus wants him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you to get him, and I'll tell you this quietly. To get the Optio, anybody who had access to the amulet.
Tell the governor to get the Optio? What do you mean?
Get the governor and get the Optio.
Oh,
Have the
I don't know how
governor,
to get the
I'll
Optio.
probably have the governor send for the Optio, and come back with the governor.
Okay.
Okay.
You make your way to the governor's estate. It's not big. It's about the same size as all the other patrician homes in Flamio. And you can, approach a master servant will give you a greeting of a bow. And when you explain the situation, about 10 minutes later, a painfully long length of time, the governor will come down. He's sort of put on a night cloak, and he looks at you a bit confused, sort of limping with the big iron leg, just like dunk, dunk, dunk behind him as he walks.
Big iron on the zip.
Well, Master Servant said it was urgent.
Is it nighttime now?
Yeah, it is nighttime now.
Oh, I thought it was still daytime. How
No.
did it take so long?
Well, because you started by searching for the having a stroke locate object, which takes a lot of walk
Yes,
around
20
the city.
minutes.
Then you determined it. Then you went to the records office and read the records on these 3 families. And so it's like an early evening thing. It's like a 4 p.m. He took off work early, and now he's home.
Okay. Lord Governor, Proconsul, I think those are the right words. We need to speak with you at the where is Severus? Is it the
City
office?
Hall.
The town hall.
City Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please send for the Optio as well.
Why?
It's in regards to our investigation.
Oh, all right. Okay, well, he looks back behind him. Lucalis, send for the Optio. Do you need anyone else?
Just you.
All right.
And he will, wave at one of his men to bring about his carriage. He's not walking fucking halfway across the city. Fuck that shit. You can climb to the carriage with him. The two of you will rattle across the city. The Optio will get there a little bit after you, but about as you're dismounting from the carriage, the Optio will be sprinting over. Who knows what he's needed for. But when he sees the governor is fine, he'll sort of slow his pace and walk over and give you a salute. And the governor will say,
Oh, no need to be so formal. I think that they're just updating us on the progress of their investigation.
The entire time, by the way, I'm in this room, waiting. I'm gonna look at the clerk intently.
yeah,
I
she
wanna
looks at you
I wanna sit
fearfully.
on some intense mental pressure
Yeah,
and see if she cracks.
she looks nervous, sweating. So, the 2 guards that were locking down the city hall will, make way. Father Rixion, you enter with the governor and the Optio, head of the garrison. The 3 of you head into the office, and you can see, Severus is there staring at the clerk, and the governor will, look at the open safe, look at the clerk, say,
Well, what's happened?
I'm sorry to have you sent here so urgently, but there's been a big development in this case. Thing that I think should be known immediately. Is the door closed?
no.
I'll not only close the door, but I'm gonna stand in front of it so that if anyone tries to make a run for it or something.
Yeah, the governor seems uncomfortable with this situation, and he'll sort of give a nod to the Optio, and the Optio just casually sort of puts his hand on his blade.
Oh, don't worry.
I'll put my hand on my blade when I see that.
This amulet, and I'll point at it, is a fake.
What do you mean? It's been identified.
So it has. By whom, if I may ask?
Arcanist Vitarion?
Well, just because I was being thorough and following every possible thing, it's part of being my job to be thorough, so I re-identified the amulet to see if Arcus Cetarian missed anything at all. And to my surprise, this amulet, other than this light glow on it, is not enchanted at all.
I received a
Exactly.
letter from the
Amulet.
Department of Magic recommending Arcanist Vitarion. Perhaps we should get a neutral third party.
Well, you can also cast Fire Period to some truth.
I'm willing to attest for this under some truth.
All right, I doubt you would lie, but you're making some serious accusations.
I'm not saying that Father Arcanist Cetarian lied to you.
Batarion, read!
Batarian, sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm not saying that he lied to you, or that he failed his investigation. Just saying that there's a chance that, which is why I had you and the Opti here as well as your clerk, because you 3 are the only people
You believe us to
my
have been
knowledge
burgled?
have access to the safe. There's a possibility you have been burgled,
Interesting.
Governor.
or you have an insider who swapped it out.
Yes, Governor, to speak plainly, there are only a few options as to what could have occurred. It is either that Arcanist Materion claimed to have identified it, swapped it, and then cast Minor Illusion on a fake and put it back, or someone that has access or had access to the real amulet managed to get a fake, got a spellcaster to cast Minor Illusion on it, and swapped it out.
I can think of a third option.
Which would be
The people in this room are the only ones that had access to it.
Well, the third option I can think of is that I was right all along, and the Department of Faith sent you here to remove one of my closest advisors from the Department of Magic, and you fabricated this situation to try to remove him from power.
I see. And
Would you like us to test that on a Zone of Truth?
You would believe me to put stock in your magic without an independent arbiter?
you can get an independent arbiter. It's no problem for me at all.
But
I'd like for you to-
Oh, but she's a
She's a member of the
Whatever,
Department of
too.
Faith. Yeah.
How long would an independent arbiter take to get here?
I'm not sure. I haven't reached out yet. But I'm not going to... I know it isn't anyone in this room. The Optio, he's been with me since we served in the Legions, and the Prisha over there has been with me just as long. They would not steal from me and ruin decades of service over something as trivial as this. And again, that Arcanist came at a letter from one of the autarchs of the Department of Magic.
What if your Arcanist has been replaced by an imposter? Do you think that might be
How
an
could such a
that
thing
might
even
be a
happen?
possibility?
Are you speaking of the children's stories of changelings?
I'm speaking of somebody who's killed them and through clever tricks and powerful magics assumed his identity
Such a thing even possible?
with an immense amount of preparation and dedication and resources, yes. But if that was the case, then this case would even be more dangerous than just this incredibly powerful amulet was in the beginning.
Is it possible, Father Hyperion, or sorry, Father Rixian, that you would cast Zone of Truth here?
I have no issue with it. It seems that for some reason they don't trust the Zone of Truth.
I don't know what spell
Well-
you're casting. Do I look like a wizard? You could be casting Glowing Circle for all that I know, and expecting me to believe that you've cast some
you
true
will be
spell.
subject to it, and you will attempt to lie
Yes,
to us.
and-
If you fail to lie to us, even contrary to your own will, you will know that it is Zone of Truth that we are both under.
I'm no expert,
Can-
but can Zone of Truths not be avoided in some circumstances? Half-truths, lies.
Of course, half-truths, but we will answer truthfully and plainly. We
I'm
cannot
sure
say
you
yes
would
to
say
something
that,
is
yes. The
truthfully
Department
no.
of Faith is so famed for its honesty and not attempting to grab any power from their rival factions. If we're to do such a
We're not
thing,
trying to pull any wool over your eyes, we're just trying to...
if we are to
just
do
trying
this,
to-
it'll be from an independent arbiter, not from someone within the department itself.
May we
Yes,
have
the
it
problem with
cast
that is that if we send for an independent arbiter, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
Maximus.
cast it, Father Rixian, on us. And if he
No,
doesn't believe
may-
it... What?
May we have it cast on you three so that we can confirm no suspicion on your part right now.
He shrugs. Sure, fine. We have nothing to hide.
That
He looks
way,
at the
we
Optio.
can wait for an independent arbiter
Yes.
without fear that they
Governor
will
said yes. What about the other two?
fail one of them.
They look at him a bit nervous. I mean, Optio's not
There's
really nervous.
authority.
He's more so ready to, attack you guys, because when Renesmee blocked the door, that was, a massive red flag for them. So,
Yeah.
the Optio still has his hand on his blade, but the clerk will just sort of nervously nod.
I thought he had his hand on his blade because he was going to cut his own neck, honestly. That's what I was
Jesus
afraid of.
Christ!
What?
No,
This guy did.
that's fair.
True.
That's fair.
I guess you're right in that.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay, so we're just gonna Zone of Truth ask if they are part of this Patriots group? Is that all we care
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I can question
Trini
them.
is here, right?
Yeah, you're all here.
Okay.
Smart.
I'll just in case ready action if they try to either attack us or themselves to sleep.
And I still have my hand on my blade, so
Yeah.
long as the
Optio does
has
too.
his.
Cast the spell around the middle of the room.
Sure.
It's a 15-foot radius, so it might everybody be covered. It
Yeah,
might
everyone will
everyone
be-
be
yeah,
inside
yeah.
of it. All right, Renesmee, ask your questions.
I will be asking a question, and all three of you will respond sequentially. Do you know, or
Maybe
Did
we
you
should
steal
test
the
the
amulet?
first.
oh yeah, that's true. I will say What are your names?
One sec.
Please attempt to lie.
Okay. Okay. I was just double checking how the saves on this spell worked.
Oh, in case they're not willing.
No, I was just wondering. I was curious how it worked. One sec.
Curious.
Okay. Yeah, the first woman, you told her to attempt to lie.
Yes.
She'll say,
no, well,
my name is... yes, Lady Judge? Should I lie or not lie?
Attempt to lie, sure.
My name is Benedict Cumberwall.
She passed her charisma save.
Wait, that means she resisted.
But then,
Yes.
yeah, why was she resistant?
Because you told her to lie!
You literally told her to lie, and so she makes a save.
Wait, no, it's oh no, you don't get
Yeah,
to say
it's if
every
you
time
choose to
try
resist
lie.
and you told her to tell a lie. So she's gonna
Wait,
resist
no,
and tell a lie.
No, there's a difference
She
between
chose to
telling.
resist the circle.
Yeah, she chose to resist the circle and tell a lie.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not
That
how
is
it
literally
works.
how the spell works. Yes, it says until
No,
the
no,
spell
no.
ends, a creature that enters the area for the first time or starts its turn there makes a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature can't speak a deliberate lie. You know whether the creature succeeds or fails.
Yeah.
Yes, but when
and she
Wait,
should have
actually-
to make a
it
save.
was cast before I even asked my question, so
Okay.
she makes her save
She
then,
did.
or if she's willing
She's
to
not.
be a
She
part of
made
the
the
circle.
save.
Okay, so that's
Well,
what we're asking, if she was
that
willing or
already
not.
means she resisted it.
Yeah, she made a save
That's
and she
suspicious in
resisted
itself.
it. Okay, sure.
So then I'll ask her,
Rolled
why
a
did
nat
you...
20.
Because the thing is,
It was close to that.
It's
You.
got to roll really high.
It was
Because I
very
thought
good.
you house ruled it that you can intentionally fail the save.
You can
You can't.
intentionally fail a save.
So you
But she
can or you
succeeded.
can't.
You can intentionally fail the
She
save.
chose to not intentionally fail.
Yeah, she chose to
Yeah.
resist it and she passed.
Which is stupid.
Okay.
Because we told her
Got him.
because we told her we're gonna cast Stone of Truth, and if she resists,
I'll
that
just
means
tell her
she's
not
like
to
trying
resist
to hide
the Zone of
something.
Truth and try to tell another lie. Stop
Okay,
trying to
sure.
resist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your Honor, she was
think-
stupid.
She'll
No,
think
but, like,
about it. You know, she's not a
you only roll
practiced
literally
arcanist.
once, and then for the rest of the Zone of Truth, you're always compelled to. That's how it works.
No, when you
It's not
start your
like for
turn there,
each
you make, no,
question.
no. When you start your turn there, you make another save.
No,
Yeah,
the
okay.
first time you start, you enter the area.
It says, oh, it's or, not and. Yeah, then it is one save. So she did resist and she passed. So the Zone of Truth does not affect her.
Well, that's not
All,
very
all
helpful,
three of
is
them
it?
resisted, and 2 of them passed. The governor
Oh
failed.
my god. Okay, when do you have the
That's
governor?
not. It's not one save and you get it if you pass it. That's
It
there's
is
no
what
way
it is.
that's
It says
It
that.
is, it
Until
is.
the
It's a
spell
save
ends,
or
a
suck
creature that
spell.
enters it for the first time on a turn, or starts
It's
its
a
turn
save or
there,
suck.
must make a saving throw.
I have a
Let's
question.
kick him out and put him back in. What the heck?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it.
No, for the
Yeah,
first
I have
time
a
on a
question.
turn.
Oh, no, you're right.
Why
that's
would
it this time.
why would this ever be an important spell
For the first
of
time
like?
on the turn. So if they leave and come back, then that's still.
Yeah, the way you're using it right now, this spell is like literally
And
working.
every
It's
time
like
it's-
board.
I mean, you can say that, but not really.
Another save.
Because he knows whether they fail or succeed, so he knows that they succeed.
Wait, if you know, then why we still ask the question?
Yeah.
Because you didn't ask Yogi! I don't know what to tell you! What do you want me to say?
Why don't we just have him
we
step
told-
out and come back in?
Drew.
I just can't
Let's
believe
stop,
that that's
stop
how
arguing
it's...
about the rules. And
That's just how the
let's
spell
just-
works. I
Well,
don't
that's
know what to
because
tell you.
it's already not how it works, and you're very wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
I
hope the
think
Jeremy
Arcan's
Crawford's way, Hector.
interpretation isn't right.
Let's just work within
This
his
is like saying you
interpretation.
can roll
and stop
hypnotic pattern
arguing
again.
about it.
I mean,
Yeah, but
hey,
that's
it
like a
works how it
simple
works.
solution.
They chose to resist. They passed, well, 2 of them, passed the save against it, so they are allowed
Yeah,
to speak
so
deliberate lies
let's-
within the circle.
Let's have those 2 step out and step back in.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Now, I think the Optio has enough like tangential relationships to magic to recognize when a magical effect is trying to take him over, so he can choose to fail. But I think it's a weird experience for someone who's never had a spell cast on them before. So the Optio, he steps back in, chooses to fail. You know, has to tell the truth. The what's her name? I'm gonna give her another save, which you would know, Yogi. She has failed.
Okay.
All right.
So 3 have failed.
Mhm.
Now we can ask.
Okay. They will answer me sequentially. Did you steal the amulet?
No, no, no,
Do you know who stole the amulet?
no, no, no.
Did you swap the amulet?
I mean, that feels like it falls in the bucket of the first one, but no, no, no.
Are any of you working with a group known as the Patriots?
No.
Do any of you possess any knowledge as to whether or not this amulet was taken, swapped, or otherwise fucked with during its time here?
The governor, well, the clerk starts to speak, and the governor will interrupt her and say,
Sorry.
"Oh, you just
yes.
told us that."
Sorry. Yes, I apologize. Did any of you have any knowledge of that therein prior to us informing you?
No.
I apologize. All right.
The Arcanist that was recommended from Autark, do you trust him?
Yes. He was recommended by Autark in the Department of Faith. I received the letter.
I mean, I'm satisfied.
Should we see the
none of
letter?
these three have any involvement.
I agree. I do trust that.
One more question, actually. Did you know who this man was or what the purpose of this amulet was before any other investigation?
Governor will say, "Well, of course I knew who he was. I'm the one who gave him your name, his name."
Yeah, he was the senator. Everyone knew who he was.
Were you hiding information about this case from us?
Why would I give you this case if I was going to hide information from you?
Okay.
Please answer the question, sir.
I did answer the question.
With a yes or a no.
No.
Thank you.
Alright. And what about the rest of them?
They don't have anything to say. What do you mean? This is clearly a question addressed towards him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think
We would like to, most likely what we would like to do is to bring the Arcanist in here and get him to swear under this oath as well. And we're happy
I think
to have...
you've asked more than enough questions. We'll get an independent arbiter involved and figure this out. I'll write a letter to the Department of Magic, confirm that, the recommendation they sent was legitimate, and I will get a independent arbiter from the Department of Civility.
I am absolutely happy to do all of that. However, we should interview the Arcanist Veterian. You have sworn your loyalty to these two standing beside you, and you have proven yourselves all three to be true.
Sorry, I think I misspoke in how clear I was being. I'm done entertaining you judges with this. I was interrogated. After I was trying to go home for the evening, you've gained nothing from the case, and now you've accused close friends of mine of attempting to steal from me. So no, your investigation will not proceed until an independent arbiter has been acquired. To be clear.
If we wait for an independent arbiter, and it was the Arcanist, he will have gotten
Yes,
away.
and if it wasn't, you will have besmirched the reputation of a good man and interrogated him while he's trying to live his life, like you have two of my close colleagues.
We know that none of these three were involved. Why would they ever tell the Arcanists? Why would the Arcanist ever have a suspicion we're onto him?
Because he thinks that he could be an innocent man. He truly believes that.
So why would he go anywhere?
No, I'm saying the governor or these two could have reason, even if they are innocent, to inform him that this happened. Because as he said, he believes that he's innocent and that we're doing a power play.
Yeah.
If we agree to have the independent arbiter come, why would they believe that?
It could take like a week.
So long as we agree to have the independent arbiter come and not have any contact with the Arcanist, do you agree to not inform him of this?
Governor will not. Seems reasonable.
All right.
Well, we have to ask every single person.
I mean, they can, it's not a zone of truth thing.
My Optio and my clerk will do as I say.
There. I see no reason why we can't wait for the independent arbiter then.
Okay.
Seems that something here is going on. We should assuage the governor's concerns as to our purpose here. And then we all can move on with the same intentions. Does that satisfy everyone?
The governor will not. As long as he gets his independent arbiter, he's...
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Nothing
denying
wrong
him
with
that at all.
All right then. So I say it's getting late. Why don't we all get some rest?
The governor will point towards the amulet.
So it does nothing then.
It's a
Yes.
fake. It just has
Look at
minor
Severus.
illusion
It just
text
glows.
on it.
So should
It
we put it
glows
back in the vault?
pretty.
You should put it back so that nobody knows that we've caught on to them yet. Whoever stole
In
it.
case there's a
Sure.
burglar.
Why not?
He seems
All
to.
right.
The
Okay,
governor
not
seems to
something
think of something, but he doesn't.
possible.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was just saying that breaching an arcane lock and
Oh,
something
sure,
like
yeah.
an amulet could entirely have happened.
Yeah, the governor seems to have thought of something. Like he starts to speak, but then he goes quiet. And he'll walk over to the amulet on its little pillow and put it into the tubby hole, and then put his hand onto the glass pane, which will slide back into place, and then close up the locked cabinet. He will wait for you all to leave his office.
Off we go then.
Yeah, he'll
So
remain in the
I'll
room with
leave.
his Optio and his clerk.
I am going to go and immediately turn into like a spider and crawl through town and go to that Arcanist place and just spy on him.
Oh no.
You may want to stay as a person until you get closer, just so you don't waste like half a
Brush has a
shape
time
walking
limit.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What's
true.
your time limit? Like 4 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but spiders are
long
very
now.
slow.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing that. I don't want to I don't want to shuffle through his things or anything. I literally just want to keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
His
sure.
She shows up
physical-
as magic under a detect magic, right?
Yeah,
That's what I was about to ask.
yeah, she is mad.
Yeah, there's like.
No, I'm ready for another Severus incident where she walks
Yeah, I
into
was
the
gonna
room,
say,
opens up the
the
door, and
last
gets
time one
slapped.
of us snuck into a random Arcanist's house, somebody got disintegrated.
No,
That
fucking
is
do
true.
it. Do it, bro.
Maybe we should chill. Because if he catches us, this is like a huge like violation of like law. We should probably just chill.
Kind of. Technically,
You
Arcanists
could
are like
step-
you guys, where they're outside the structure. So again, if you want to be assholes, you could just ignore the governor and just kick down this guy's door and apprehend
How
him.
about you surveil his place from the outside instead?
Yeah, sure. I'll turn into like a cat and I'll like pretend to sleep outside his house, like
Cozy.
near somewhere else. Just keeping
Anyone
an
that
eye on
comes
the
in or
exits.
leaves.
Yeah. Well, so you can only really watch the front or the back at one time. So which one are you gonna watch?
Well, can Severus be hidden in one of them as well?
Yeah, sure.
Because he's a stealthy boy.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just.
Yeah, that's fine. So you guys are gonna stay up all night
Oh.
doing that and gain a level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Based.
Okay, cool. Okay.
It's not like we're gonna be fighting, we don't think. So.
Well,
I won't
if
be-
you go
I-
kicking down
I
an
won't be
Arcanist
doing
door,
that.
maybe you will.
No,
Well, we wait a day
Okay,
or something.
okay.
I don't know.
I'm not
Alright.
risking that because the first level of exhaustion is disadvantage on skill checks, and these are going to be very important.
Okay, so you're
Oh.
not staying up the whole night watching the place.
Just
I
it.
will.
Okay.
I will turn
Wait, what
into.
kind of skill checks do we want to pass? The one
Stealth.
should be a zone of truth, and you don't want to pass that.
No, I mean stealth.
Oh. No, I'm saying from the exhaustion level, he doesn't gain that until the morning, correct?
Yeah.
Also, Zone of Truth is a save, which doesn't happen until the second level.
Oh,
Exhaustion,
no, Donna's
right?
asking a good question though. What checks are you trying to save for? Because you don't get the exhaustion level until the morning, which is after you made all the stealth checks for the evening.
Oh, well, future stealth outside of handshakes and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright,
but
cool.
That's
I
too
guess
far in
I
the
could
future.
turn into a pigeon and stay on his chimney.
I think you're gonna be sleeping before that's defeat, is what I'm saying.
Yes, you could do that, Renesmee. That would allow you to see if
Okay,
anyone
yeah.
goes in or out, but not into the interior if you're trying to do that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you know what? Doda's right. I will gain one of your exhaustion for this.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, we'll both stay at the house.
Alright, Father Rixion, Maximus Grania, the three of you head to the accommodations that have been provided to you by the governor. It's a nobleman's estate who just basically just abandoned all his property and left the
Sorry,
city.
are you letting us know about your nightly adventures?
Severus and
No.
Renesmee.
It's me and stuff.
Oh, so
Is
the
it-
two of you
is
guys
it
are just
the-
disappearing?
Well, I would tell
Yeah.
everyone except Maximus because I don't trust him.
Based. Wait, what? Hold on. You know what? Never mind. That's a conversation for later. Never mind.
Okay. Well, you guys head back to your apartment. Sorry, nobleman's estate. That was a stroke moment. Severus and Renesmee go to watch that guy's house. Yogi, didn't I ban that fighting style?
You never said that.
Right. Which one is it? It's the blind fighting one, right?
Yeah.
I'm like
never said that.
99.9% sure I banned that, but we'll deal with that later.
Where would you put that? You didn't. No.
That's maybe true. You're right.
There is
I may
a
have not written that
specific
down.
spot
I
that
only use the
bans stuff, so
PHP
if it's
fighting
not in there,
styles,
then yeah.
but it may not be written down. You're right.
And it's not a feat, so it's not in like a whitelist.
No, it's not a fee. It's not a fee. It's just that.
What is it called?
It's an alternate
just
fighting
a
style
fighting
from Tasha's,
style.
I think, or maybe
Is
it's
it
Xanathar's.
Tasha's? Oh.
It's one of those two.
I
Anyways,
just with the character since he's only got the one eye and he's like
yeah, no, I get it. I just
Daredevil sense.
there's a bunch of wacky extra fighting style. Yeah, so the three of you head back to your apartment. Severus and Renesmee, you guys go camp out his shop. And you get the sort of sense that he probably lives here as well. It's one of those like brownstone, like it's like a narrow little building, 3 stories tall. It gives you kind of flashbacks, Severus, because the other individual, the other Arcanist, whose house you broke into, also lived in a very narrow apartment. Though to be fair, that one didn't have a shop on the first level, but still, worryingly similar. And then there's like a chimney up there. You don't see any activity on the first or second floors, but you do see candlelight through the 3rd floor. So he's probably active up there until about 10, when it seems as if he goes to sleep. As for the rest of you, you guys can all get a good night's rest and awake the following day on the 4th. For those of you sleeping at the nobleman's estate by the governor's, grace, you will find a letter has been placed there by one of your servants that was written by the governor late last night. He has written to his contacts in the imperial capital asking for an independent arbiter to resolve a dispute between the Department of Faith and the Department of Magic, and a representative from the Department of Civility will arrive in 6 days on May 10th.
All right then. I'm happy to wait that out.
I'm gonna do kind of like a night worker shift where I'm gonna sleep during the days and then be up during the nights.
Why?
Because I feel like I want to have eyes on this guy, and I don't know how to get rid of exhaustion just sleeping, right?
Yeah. Yeah, short rest will get rid of 1 level, long rest will get rid of all levels.
I guess I'm allowed to stay up the next day, so I'll just case his house as best as I can, and then I'll...
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to skip too far forward in time because some things will happen, but we can just say on May 4th, Severus and Grania, since they're doing these sort of... No, it's Grania. Severus and Renesmee, while they're doing these shifts, watching the place, you get a sort of sense of the guy's schedule. He wakes up very early in the morning. He does, like, house calls for various people. He meets with other... I don't know, noble patrician type folks. It's a very irregular schedule. Not like, oh, he wakes up this time every day, leaves at this time. Notably, though, he clearly has his house decked the fuck out with enchantments, which isn't uncommon. Almost all like high-level arcanists will do that, or even mid-level arcanists. Like, glyphs of warding aren't that expensive if you're like above 9th level, because you can just make them for free. So yeah, most of the house is covered in some sort of protection, whether it be arcane law, glyph of warding, guards and wards, the works as to be expected. I think that's all you really glean. And I think since we're nearing the end of our session time anyways, we will leave the rest of this investigation, including the independent arbiter's arrival, for 3 weeks from now. Which is unfortunately when our next session is. Yeah, I know. I know, sorry, it's actually a full month, I think, right? Because...
What?
Yeah, it is a full month. Because we're missing 3 weeks, so our next session is in 1 month.
Yes, on the 4th, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
it's gonna be a fat minute with no packs, but what can you do?
Yeah,
Ideally,
I'm gonna need to take the week after that off, so hopefully we don't cancel. On
what I'm
day.
gonna do is I'm gonna write out solo sessions for the 14th and the 11th of next month. So we'll try to fill in some of the gaps, so it's not a full month of no packs, but there's not gonna be a main session of packs until a month from now.
That's so sad, because like the first week of September we start going into my wedding and then honeymoon, so I'm gonna miss like 2 weeks.
Yeah, the scheduling is all falling apart. It is what it is.
No.
Oh god, no!
All right.
This is where it devolves.
How many more weeks of no packs?
3. Well, it's about a month, basically a month.
Next game is August 4th.
Yeah, next main session is August
And
4th.
when's the honeymoon then?
Well,
So
that's like
my-
a month after that.
Yeah, yeah. So like all of the first like 2 weeks of September, like the last week of August / first week of September, I won't be free. So
Yeah, we'll figure out
Let's
the
say-
scheduling as it comes.
yeah, Friday.
We gotta pack in some August
First,
gaming.
not available.
I'll make sure
Friday
that we
the
have
8th,
at least
not
solo
available.
sessions scheduled for that time. Obviously, not the
Yeah.
main
Is
group.
that
But,
is that of September?
Yeah. So
Yeah, the first.
Are these,
and
like-
8th.
Are these
It's gonna
like
probably be
solo
flashbacks.
sessions?
There's going to be flashbacks. I think there's a couple little things that I want to explore. A thing with Grania,
Wait, the
a thing with Severus, maybe a thing with Zednius. But yeah,
okay, that actually works out pretty well.
Pog.
The eighth being off, and I'm not gonna lie, the 15th, we'll see how that goes.
Well, future scheduling will be dealt with in the group chat. This is all we got for this week. So next time we will be back on Jesus Christ, the fucking the 4th of August is the next main session. So I will see
I'll
you
miss
folks.
you guys.
Yeah, I'll see you folks then. Jesus. Bye bye.
You guys.
Yeah.
Alex,